In the quiet hours of night, when the world finally slows down, your mind often refuses to follow. Thoughts keep circling, unfinished conversations replay, regrets tug at your chest, and a restless longing keeps you awake. It can feel as though your heart is carrying stones, each one heavier than the last, and the silence of the room only makes their weight more noticeable. Many nights we lie here searching for sleep, but instead we wrestle with ourselves, as though peace is something far away, hidden beyond reach. But tonight can be different. Tonight, instead of forcing your mind to quiet down, you will allow it to be gently held, guided by wisdom that has soothed restless hearts for thousands of years. Buddhism whispers that suffering is not a life sentence but a teacher, and that peace is not found by chasing it. It arises when we stop grasping and let go. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." These words are more than philosophy. They are medicine for the nights when you feel too heavy to rest. Before we continue, I invite you into a small act of presence. Share where you are listening from, or simply place a candle emoji in the comments. As if we are lighting this space together, many lanterns across the night, each one reminding us that we are not alone in our search for rest. Now, take a slow breath. Inhale as if you are gathering the cool air of dawn. Exhale as though releasing the burdens of the day. Let your shoulders soften into the bed, as though the earth itself has promised to hold you without condition. There is a story told of a monk who once traveled from village to village, and wherever he went, people would either shower him with praise or cast insults upon him. One day, a young villager asked, "Why do you never react, whether they honor you or curse you?" The monk smiled and replied, "If someone offers you a gift, and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" In that moment, the young man realized, praise and blame are like gifts. If you do not grasp them, they remain with the giver. This story drifts toward us now because so much of our nightly unrest comes from caring too much about what others think. Words spoken earlier in the day replay in the mind. Approval feels like nourishment. Criticism feels like poison. Yet the teaching of the monk reminds us peace cannot be handed to you or stolen from you. It is already within. As you breathe now, feel yourself stepping back from the endless cycle of craving and rejection. With each exhale, release the invisible hands that try to pull you in every direction. Imagine standing beside a still pond under moonlight. Stones have been thrown into its surface all day, some smooth, some sharp, each creating ripples that disturb the water. But as night deepens, no new stones are thrown, and the surface begins to quiet. This pond is your mind, and with each breath, the ripples soften. Nothing more needs to be added, nothing taken away. You are simply watching, gently, as stillness returns. The Buddha taught that clinging to opinions, to praise, to fear of rejection is like grasping at fire. It burns the hand even as you refuse to let go. Tonight is an invitation to loosen that grip. In this moment, you need not be impressive. You need not be perfect. You need only to be present, breathing softly, resting deeply. Let your breath continue to flow slowly. With each inhale, feel your body expand slightly, a gentle opening. With each exhale, imagine placing a heavy stone down by the pond, no longer needing to carry it. One stone for regret, one stone for comparison, one stone for the endless striving of the day. The earth accepts them all without judgment. In this letting go, you are not losing anything essential. You are returning to what was always here. The quiet lantern of your own being, glowing softly, waiting patiently to guide you into rest. So much of our unease comes from the desire to be seen, to be approved, to be told we are enough. It is natural every child looks into the eyes of others for recognition, yet as we grow older, this habit hardens into chains. We begin to measure our worth through the shifting winds of opinion, like fragile paper lanterns tossed about by storms we cannot control. Tonight, as you rest, you will be shown another way, the way of soft detachment, the way of carrying your dignity quietly within. There was once a monk who lived in a small mountain temple. Villagers respected him for his wisdom and purity, until one day a young woman in the village became pregnant. In fear, she told her family, "The monk is the father." The villagers were furious. They stormed the temple, shouting, condemning, accusing. Yet the monk only bowed his head and said, "Is that so?" They left the child with him, and he raised the infant tenderly, feeding him milk, wrapping him in cloth, singing him to sleep. Years later, when the young woman confessed the truth that another man was the father, the villagers returned in shame, apologizing, and asked for the child back. Again, the monk bowed his head and said, "Is that so?" He handed the boy over, without anger, without attachment. This story is not about indifference, it is about freedom. The monk cared deeply for the child, yet he did not cling to praise or blame. His peace did not depend on the shifting tides of public opinion. He walked steadily, as the mountain does, unmoved by passing clouds. As you lie here tonight, reflect on how often your own heart trembles at the words of others, how one sentence of praise can lift you, and one sentence of criticism can sink you, and notice how exhausting it is to live at the mercy of such winds. The Buddha compared it to a man who builds his house on sand. Each wave threatens to wash it away. But when you build on rock, on your own integrity, your own quiet truth, no storm can take it from you. Take a slow breath now. Inhale gently, as though filling your chest with mountain air. Exhale and feel your shoulders fall, releasing the weight of other people's opinions. Imagine them as small scraps of paper, words written in ink, carried off by the wind, vanishing into the night sky. You no longer need to grasp them. They were never truly yours to keep. A Zen teaching says, "The praise of the world is no more than a passing breeze. Do not waste your strength chasing it." As these words settle in your heart, notice the quiet that follows. In this stillness, you are no longer a performer on a stage. You are the watcher of the play, the calm presence behind all appearances. With each breath, allow your heart to soften. Let your face ease into serenity, as though every muscle remembers it has permission to rest. Feel the heaviness of the day melting, and imagine your body sinking gently into a field of grass, safe and unbothered by the chatter of the world. You are not what others think. You are not the sum of judgments, compliments, or comparisons. You are the quiet watcher, the gentle breath, the lantern glowing within. And here, in this place of deep release, you may finally sleep, unchained, unshaken, unburdened. There is another restlessness that haunts the night. Even when we set down the weight of opinions, even when we stop worrying about what others think, there remains a hunger that gnaws at us quietly. It is the hunger for more comfort, more pleasure, more experiences, more possessions. It hides behind the promise that, once I have this, I will finally be at peace. Yet like water slipping through the fingers, the joy fades quickly, leaving us thirstier than before. The old teachings describe this cycle as tanha, craving, thirst. The Buddha compared it to drinking salty water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Tonight, as you breathe slowly and prepare for rest, you may notice this craving whispering in your mind. Perhaps it takes the form of replaying desires, plans for tomorrow, worries about what you have or have not achieved, longing for what you once lost. These cravings are like sparks of fire carried by the wind. They may seem small, but if we chase them, they can consume the forest of our peace. There is a gentle story told in the villages of the East. A man once chased after a rainbow reflected in a pond. Each time he reached for it, the water rippled and the rainbow disappeared. Desperate, he bent lower, scooping the water in his hands, but the colors vanished again and again. Exhausted, he finally sat down beside the pond. In stillness, the rainbow appeared once more, not because he chased it, but because he allowed the water to be calm. This story drifts toward us tonight as a reminder. The beauty we chase, pleasure, status, wealth, recognition, often fades the moment we grasp at it. It is only in stillness, in contentment, that true joy reveals itself. The monk who sits under a tree with nothing may smile more deeply than the merchant who counts his gold by lantern light. Take a long breath now. As you inhale, imagine filling your lungs with cool air that cleanses the mind. As you exhale, picture yourself setting down a heavy bag you have carried for years, a bag filled with all the if-onlys. If only I had more money, if only I had that house, if only they loved me, if only I had achieved that goal. Each thought is another stone in the bag, another burden pressing on your back. Let them fall, one by one, onto the soft earth. The earth does not judge, it simply receives them. The Buddha's life itself is a parable of this truth. As a young prince, Siddhartha lived surrounded by luxury. He had palaces filled with music, gardens blooming with flowers, silk and jewels at his fingertips. Yet none of it brought him peace. He saw that even in a life of constant pleasure, suffering remained: old age, sickness, death, loss. So he stepped beyond the palace walls, seeking another way. And it was only when he abandoned both extreme indulgence and extreme denial, choosing instead the middle path of balance, that awakening came. The middle way is not about rejecting pleasure entirely. It is about understanding its nature, fleeting, impermanent, unable to carry the weight of our deepest longing. A sweet fruit may delight the tongue, but it cannot feed the soul forever. A warm embrace may soothe the heart, but it too is impermanent, like waves rising and falling on the sea. When we demand permanence from what is passing, we invite suffering. But when we savor each gift without clinging, the gift becomes truly luminous. Imagine, as you breathe now, that you are walking through a quiet forest at dusk. The air is cool, scented with pine and earth. In your hand is a lantern, glowing softly, illuminating each step. On the path you see scattered treasures, shiny stones, golden leaves, small trinkets. The craving part of you wants to stop, to gather them all, to fill your pockets. But your hands are already carrying the lantern, and if you clutch at every treasure, you risk dropping the light. So instead, you admire them as you walk by, letting their beauty be enough without needing to possess them. In this way, your lantern stays steady, guiding you deeper into the forest, guiding you home. This lantern is your awareness, your inner peace. When you hold it gently, without filling your hands with endless cravings, it shines clearly, and you see the path before you. Let your breath flow in and out like the rhythm of waves. Feel your jaw loosen, your brow smooth, your chest soften. Notice if there is any part of your body holding tightly, perhaps your stomach, your hands, your throat. With each exhale, imagine that part unclenching, as though a knot is slowly being untied. You do not need to control anything in this moment. You do not need to achieve. You do not need to chase. You are already enough. The Buddha once told his disciples, "Contentment is the greatest wealth." What is contentment? It is the simple joy of breathing without resistance. It is tasting water and finding it sweet. It is lying down tonight and realizing you do not need to be anywhere else, do anything else, become anyone else. As you breathe gently, let these words sink deep. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to stop chasing. You are allowed to simply be. Perhaps you think of moments in your life when you reached a goal, when you bought something new, when you won approval, when you stood briefly in the glow of success. And then you remember how quickly that glow faded, how soon another hunger replaced it. Let the remembering be tender, not harsh. It is simply the way of things. The river flows, and no hand can hold the same water twice. To cling is to drown, to let go is to float. Picture now that you are sitting beneath a great tree. Its roots reach deep into the soil, its branches spread wide, and you are safe in its shade. Around you, desires flutter like butterflies, colorful, tempting, but not meant to be caught. You watch them dance, and you smile, knowing they will come and go. Your peace does not depend on chasing them. You are already whole beneath the tree. Breathe slowly. With each inhale, imagine drawing strength from the roots of the tree, steady and grounded. With each exhale, imagine releasing a butterfly from your hands, letting it rise into the sky. One butterfly for worry, one butterfly for longing, one butterfly for regret. The sky welcomes them all, endless and vast. And as the night deepens, you may feel a softening in your heart. The craving that once stirred your chest grows quieter, like a river settling after a storm. What remains is spaciousness, an open field where rest can finally bloom. Let the words of an old Zen poem guide you deeper. Sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. You do not need to force your heart to heal, your mind to silence, or your body to sleep. In the stillness of letting go, life takes care of itself. The grass grows by itself. Peace arises by itself. Sleep comes like a gentle friend, uninvited, yet welcome. There is one truth that every path of wisdom eventually points toward, a truth we resist yet cannot escape. Everything passes. Flowers bloom only to wither. Clouds gather only to scatter. Even the mountains, though they seem eternal, are slowly worn down by wind and rain. This truth is called anicca, impermanence. To some, it feels like a wound, a reminder that nothing can be held forever. But to those who sit quietly with it, impermanence becomes the deepest medicine, for it frees us from clinging to what cannot stay. Perhaps tonight your restlessness is woven with memories of things lost, of people gone, of moments you wish had lasted longer. The mind often returns to these places like a child searching for a toy that has already broken. But just as the child must learn to play again with open hands, we too are invited to meet life with the knowledge that it is always moving, always flowing. There is a gentle story of a king who once asked his wise teacher for a phrase that would comfort him in both joy and sorrow. After many days, the teacher brought him a ring. On it were inscribed 4 simple words: "This too shall pass." When the king won battles, he looked at the ring and softened, knowing his victory was temporary. When he faced defeat, he also looked at the ring and found courage, knowing the pain would not last. In this way, he lived more steadily, balanced in the dance of rise and fall. So too, tonight, as you lie here, remember, this restlessness, this worry, this hunger for peace, this too shall pass. Like clouds drifting across the moon, the shadows come and go, but the light remains. Take a long, slow breath now. Inhale, and imagine the fullness of the moon above, shining silver across a river. Exhale, and picture clouds moving slowly, revealing more of that quiet glow. Each thought, each memory, is just a cloud. It passes whether or not you chase it. The Buddha once spoke of a sand mandala, intricate patterns of colored grains arranged with patient devotion by monks. For days they worked, creating a perfect circle of beauty, only to sweep it away into the river when it was finished. The lesson was not destruction but freedom. Beauty shines most when we accept it is temporary. Joy is deepest when we do not clutch it to make it last. Imagine your own life as a mandala, moments of laughter, of sorrow, of love, all patterns formed and then dissolved. If you can allow this, you will discover not despair, but peace. Feel your body now, lying here. Notice how even your breath is impermanent. Each inhale arises, each exhale disappears. You cannot hold a single breath, and yet life continues. This is the miracle. In letting go, more always comes. There is another story, this one of a grieving mother named Kisa Gotami. Her child had died, and she was inconsolable. She carried the small body from house to house, begging for medicine to bring him back. At last she was brought to the Buddha. He told her, "Yes, I will give you medicine, but first, bring me a mustard seed from a house that has never known death." Eager, she went from door to door. Each family was willing to give her a seed, but each admitted they too had lost someone: father, sister, husband, child. At last, exhausted, she returned with empty hands, but a new understanding in her heart. No house is free from impermanence. No life escapes loss. From this truth, she found not bitterness, but compassion, and she entered the path of awakening. As you breathe now, reflect softly. Every person you know, every heart you love, every face you see, is touched by impermanence. This is why we must be gentle, why we must forgive quickly, why we must say, "I love you," while we can. For nothing is guaranteed, and that is what makes each moment sacred. Let your body sink deeper into the bed. Feel gravity holding you, reminding you that you do not need to cling. Imagine yourself lying on the earth itself, supported by soil that has carried countless lives before you and will carry countless lives after. You are a single wave in a vast ocean, rising, falling, returning to the sea. And like the wave, your value is not diminished by your passing. You are part of the whole, inseparable from the infinite waters. A Zen poet once wrote, "The morning glory blooms for an hour, and yet no one calls it incomplete." So too, your joys, your days, your life, they may bloom and fade, but they are not incomplete. They are exactly what they are meant to be, no more, no less. Take another breath now. With each inhale, feel yourself receiving the gift of impermanence, this breath, alive only once. With each exhale, imagine releasing your grip on all that is gone: people, moments, mistakes. They have already flowed into the river. You may let them go. Perhaps you are afraid that letting go means losing. But consider the tree in autumn. It does not weep as the leaves fall. It knows that new buds will come in spring. In the same way, when we let go, we make space for renewal. Life never stops offering itself. To cling to what has passed is to block what longs to arrive. As the night deepens, imagine yourself sitting by a fire that has burned low. Around it are ashes, remnants of what once blazed brightly. Do not mourn the ashes. They are proof of warmth once received. They are part of the cycle, part of the whole. And beyond the fire, the stars gleam distant, timeless, reminding you that while forms may vanish, the mystery remains eternal. In Buddhist practice, monks sometimes meditate in cemeteries, watching the decay of bodies not to disturb their hearts, but to awaken them. They remind themselves, this too is me, this too is life. Such reflections sound heavy, but they are in truth a release. When we accept impermanence, we stop demanding that life be different. We begin to appreciate each sip of tea, each sound of rain, each breath, as if it were the first and last. Tonight, you need not fear the passing of time. Instead, let it cradle you. The ticking of the clock, the deepening of night, the slowing of your breath, all are waves of impermanence rocking you into sleep. You are not losing anything. You are returning to the great rhythm that holds us all. As you drift, remember the words of the Buddha. Ardently do today what must be done. Who knows? Tomorrow, death comes. He did not say this to frighten, but to awaken, to remind us that life is precious precisely because it is fragile. So rest tonight not in fear, but in gratitude. You have this breath, this moment, this chance to lay your burdens down and be held by the vast, impermanent embrace of life. Even as impermanence surrounds us, there is within each of us a place that does not waver. The storms of the world may roar, the seasons may shift, and yet inside there is a still refuge, a quiet shore where the waves cannot reach. To discover it is not to escape life, but to meet it with steady grace. Tonight, as you rest, we will walk together toward that inner refuge. The Buddha often compared the human heart to a lotus. The lotus is born in the mud, rooted in darkness, in waters clouded with decay. Yet from that very mud, it rises, its stem stretching upward, its bud breaking the surface, unfolding into a blossom pure and radiant above the water. The lotus teaches that our suffering, our confusion, our mistakes are not obstacles but soil. From them, the flower of wisdom blooms. Think of your own life now. How many times have you wished the mud away, the painful memories, the struggles, the shadows of regret? And yet, without those, how would your heart learn compassion? How would your spirit grow strong? The mud is not your prison, it is your ground. In this way, your inner refuge is not built by avoiding hardship, but by embracing it with patience. By trusting that something beautiful is already rising. Take a slow breath. Inhale deeply, as though drawing strength from the very earth beneath you. Exhale gently, releasing the tightness in your chest. Feel your body as the stem of the lotus, rooted and steady, rising toward the light without hurry. With each breath, imagine a petal unfolding, soft and luminous, right in the center of your being. There is a story of two monks walking along a riverbank. They came across a woman unable to cross the rushing waters. One monk lifted her onto his shoulders and carried her across. Hours later, the younger monk spoke in agitation. "Brother, how could you carry her? We are monks, we must not touch women." The elder monk simply smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story shows us something essential about the inner refuge. It is not found by carrying everything with us. It is found by putting burdens down. Tonight, consider, what are you still carrying? Harsh words spoken long ago, a failure that still echoes, an image of yourself that you believe you must protect. The inner refuge does not require you to erase your past. It only asks that you stop clinging to it. Take another slow breath. With the inhale, gather all the tightness you feel inside. With the exhale, imagine yourself setting a heavy bundle at the side of the path. You do not need to carry it into sleep. You do not need to carry it tomorrow. It is enough to let it rest on the ground, like fallen leaves that return to the soil. In this still place, you begin to realize something gentle. Peace is not the absence of storms. It is the presence of a steady center. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, while demons tried to shake him visions of fear, temptation, and doubt. Yet he did not push them away or run from them. He simply touched the earth, grounding himself, and remained unmoved. And in that steady silence, awakening dawned. You too have this capacity. When thoughts swirl, when fears knock at the door, you do not need to fight them. You can touch the earth within you, grounding in breath, and let them pass. Say quietly in your heart, I am rooted, I am steady. This will pass. Imagine yourself now as a great mountain. Clouds gather, winds howl, storms roll across the sky, but the mountain does not move. It stands in dignity, holding forests, rivers, and animals in its arms. Your mind may be the weather, ever-changing, but your heart is the mountain, unshaken. As you breathe, let this image settle in you. Inhale as the mountain draws in mist. Exhale as the mountain releases stillness into the valley. Feel your spine long and strong, your body heavy and rooted, your mind vast and calm. There is a Zen koan that asks, what is your original face before you were born? It does not seek an answer of logic, but of recognition that beyond the masks you wear, beyond your roles and your fears, there is something timeless, something untouched. The inner refuge is this original face, this quiet presence that has been with you through every change, through every season of your life. It has never left you, and it never will. Perhaps you remember times of hardship, moments when you thought you could not endure, yet somehow you did. What carried you through? It was not the opinions of others, nor the fleeting pleasures of the world. It was that quiet resilience, that steady refuge within. Trust it now as you prepare for rest. Take another long breath. With each inhale, feel a cool stream of light flowing into your heart. With each exhale, feel warmth spreading through your body, relaxing your limbs, softening your jaw, loosening your fingers. Allow the weight of your body to be fully supported, as though lying in the arms of the earth itself. The poet Rumi once said, try to accept the changing seasons of your heart, even if they seem strange. Be grateful for each guest who arrives, for each one has been sent as a guide. In this spirit, even your restlessness tonight can be seen not as an enemy but as a guest. Welcome it gently, offer it tea, and then allow it to leave when it is ready. In this way, your refuge is not in banishing what you dislike, but in holding everything with spacious compassion. Imagine now that you are sitting inside a temple at dawn. The air is cool, incense drifts upward, and a single bell rings softly. Each tone lingers in the air, then dissolves into silence. You realize your thoughts are like that bell, clear for a moment, then fading naturally. You do not need to chase them. You need only to listen, to let them come and go, like sounds in the vast sky. As you lie here, let your heart be like that sky, boundless, holding everything without resistance. Joy and sorrow, memory and hope, craving and release, all are clouds passing. The sky is never diminished by the clouds, and you are never diminished by passing thoughts. Your refuge is the sky, vast and unbroken. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Each inhale like a wave arriving at the shore. Each exhale like a wave returning to the sea. Nothing to hold, nothing to fear. Just the eternal dance of coming and going, rising and falling, always returning to stillness. And so, in this moment, know that you are safe. The storms may swirl outside, the world may change with each dawn, but your inner refuge is steady, unshaken, timeless. You need not reach for it. You need only rest into it, as one rests into sleep, trusting the ground beneath. The world outside your window is loud, even when all seems quiet. We live in an age where voices never stop, where glowing screens follow us into every room, where comparison clings to us like a shadow. Even at night, when you close your eyes, the noise often continues. The scroll of images, the unfinished conversations, the subtle fear of being left behind, they echo long after the lights go out. It is no wonder that the heart grows weary. This modern noise is not only sound, it is the endless hum of expectation. To do more, to have more, to be more. It steals rest by whispering that you are always late to some invisible race. But the truth, ancient and gentle, is that there is no race. There is only this moment, this breath, this life unfolding like petals opening in silence. The Buddha once said, "An empty cup is most useful." Consider this as you lie here. Our minds are like cups, constantly filled to the brim with worries, plans, comparisons, and desires. When the cup is full, nothing new can enter, no peace can flow in. But when we empty it, even just a little, we discover space. And in that space, stillness arises. There is a story told in Zen circles of a scholar who visited a wise master. The scholar was full of questions, eager to impress, eager to show how much he already knew. The master simply poured him tea. He poured until the cup overflowed, spilling onto the table and dripping to the floor. "Stop!" cried the scholar. "The cup is full, no more will go in." The master smiled softly and said, "Yes, like this cup, you are full of your own thoughts and opinions. How can I show you the truth unless you first empty your cup?" So too, tonight, as you lie here with eyes closed, imagine your mind as a cup. Each thought that arises, a worry about tomorrow, a memory of today, a judgment of yourself, is like a drop of tea. With each exhale, allow the cup to empty a little. Feel the spaciousness grow inside you. You do not need to erase every thought. You need only loosen your hold, letting the overflow drain away. Take a slow breath now. Inhale as though gathering fresh air from a high mountain. Exhale and imagine pouring out a little of what weighs you down. Again, inhale gently. Exhale, emptying. Little by little, the cup clears. The noise of comparison is one of the heaviest burdens we carry. How often do we measure ourselves against others, their beauty, their wealth, their apparent happiness? In the old texts, this was called mana conceit, the habit of comparing. Whether we feel greater or lesser, the result is the same: unrest. Imagine standing before a vast night sky. Would you compare one star to another, declaring this one better, that one worse? Or would you simply marvel at their light? So too, each being shines in their own way. The rose does not envy the lotus, nor does the lotus wish to be the pine. Why then must we? As you breathe, let the comparisons soften. Picture them as knots in a rope. With each exhale, imagine one knot loosening. You are not them. They are not you. And yet all are held in the same sky. All are carried by the same earth. There is nothing to prove, nothing to win, only this moment to live. The noise of the world also tells us we must always be entertained, always stimulated. But the heart longs not for endless stimulation, it longs for silence. In silence, the true music of life can be heard. The rhythm of the breath, the steady beat of the heart, the quiet murmur of existence itself. Imagine yourself sitting by a calm lake at dusk. The water is smooth, reflecting the sky. A single ripple appears, then fades. This is your mind when it is not forced to chase every sound, every distraction. Just as the lake reflects the moon only when still, so too the mind reflects truth only when quiet. Tonight, let yourself rest in that still lake. Feel the body sink into the bed as though into water that gently cradles you. With each breath, the ripples grow smaller, the surface clearer, the reflection more luminous. There is nothing you need to watch, nothing you need to achieve. The simple act of breathing is already enough. A Zen master once asked his students, "Where is the sound of the clapping of one hand?" The question is not a puzzle to be solved, but a gate to silence. Tonight, listen inwardly for that silence. Beyond the noise of the world, beyond the chatter of the mind, there is a quiet that has always been here. It is your original home, waiting patiently for you to return. Feel the noise of today fade like distant bells. The urgency of messages, the pressure of schedules, the weight of expectations, all of them drifting away like smoke dissolving into the night air. What remains is your breath, slow and gentle. What remains is the steady lantern of your heart. Take another deep inhale, filling your lungs with freshness. Exhale slowly, releasing all tension. Whisper quietly in your mind, "I am enough. I have always been enough." Let these words ripple through your body, softening every muscle, calming every thought. As you drift deeper, imagine yourself in a small, quiet room, walls made of wood, the air scented with incense. A single candle flickers before you. Outside, the world continues with its noise, but here, in this room, only silence reigns. The candle does not shout, yet its flame is steady, its light gentle. You are that candle, glowing quietly, needing nothing more. And now, as sleep approaches like a tide, you may hear the faint echo of the Buddha's words. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Let that word tonight be rest. Let it settle in your heart, carrying you into dreams as softly as a mother carries her child. To live wisely does not mean to stop caring. Many people hear the word detachment and imagine it as a kind of cold distance, as if the path of peace requires us to harden our hearts. But in the language of the Buddha, detachment is not the absence of love. It is love without chains. It is the freedom to care deeply without drowning in the waves of attachment. Imagine a river, wide and rushing. A person clings to a branch caught in the current, terrified of being swept away. Their arms ache, their breath shortens, and still they refuse to let go. Yet the river is not their enemy. It is simply the nature of water to flow. The one who trusts, who releases the branch, is carried gently downstream, arriving at stiller waters. So too, detachment is not abandoning life. It is letting go of the desperate clinging that turns life into suffering. There is a well-known story told among monks. Two brothers were traveling together when they reached a riverbank. There, they found a woman struggling to cross the waters. One of the brothers, bound by rigid rules, refused to help. But the elder brother simply lifted her, carried her across, and set her gently on the far bank. They continued their journey in silence until, hours later, the younger brother burst out, "How could you? You touched a woman, breaking our vow." The elder brother looked at him kindly and said, "I set her down at the river's edge. Why are you still carrying her?" This tale lingers because it reveals the difference between caring and clinging. The elder brother acted with compassion, then let go. The younger brother carried his judgment, his fear, his grasping long after the moment had passed. In our own lives, how often do we do the same? Carrying arguments, rejections, old wounds, even long after the world itself has already moved on. Detachment is not coldness, it is the courage to set things down. As you breathe here in the quiet of your room, notice what you are still carrying. The words someone spoke carelessly, the guilt of a mistake, the fear of being misunderstood. With each inhale, acknowledge these burdens. With each exhale, imagine setting one of them down by the roadside, as though placing a stone gently on the earth. One by one, your load lightens. Take a long, deep breath now. Inhale as if you are filling your lungs with mountain air, cool and clean. Exhale and feel your shoulders drop lower, the tension easing like snow melting under sunlight. Again inhale, steady and calm. Exhale and picture yourself standing beside that river, unclenching your grip on the branch, letting the current carry you toward peace. The Buddha taught, to hold on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at another. You are the one who gets burned. And so with fear, with worry, with attachment, we think they protect us, yet they scorch us from within. To let go is not to abandon care, it is to cool the hand, to soothe the heart. There is a gentle practice you may carry into sleep tonight. Place your hand softly on your chest. Feel the rise and fall with each breath. As you inhale, whisper silently, "I care." As you exhale, whisper, "I release." In this way, you remind the heart that love does not require chains. You can hold people, memories, even pain, with compassion, yet let them drift on, free as clouds. Consider also the way the ocean holds waves. Each wave rises, foams, crashes, and dissolves. Yet the ocean does not cling to one over another. It embraces them all, allowing each to live and die in its time. This is how the awakened heart loves, with vastness, without ownership, without fear. As you lie here, imagine your heart as an ocean. Let every thought that arises, whether gentle or sharp, become a wave. Watch it swell, watch it break, watch it dissolve back into the water. You are not the wave, you are the sea. Boundless, patient, serene. A Zen master once said, "To be like a bamboo, rooted deeply, bending with the wind, yet never breaking." Detachment is like this. You do not resist life's winds, nor do you let them uproot you. You bend, you flow, and you return to stillness. Breathe once more, slowly and fully. With each inhale, feel yourself gathering compassion. With each exhale, let go of possession. You do not need to hold tightly to be present. You do not need to cling to care deeply. You can be steady and soft, like the bamboo, like the river, like the ocean itself. As sleep draws closer, let the image of the elder monk guide you. Imagine yourself setting down whatever you have carried too far. Lay it gently on the riverbank. Watch it remain behind as you walk onward, lighter, freer, more at peace. The road ahead is softer now, and your heart, unburdened, can finally rest. Desire is a flame that never rests. Even when one wish is fulfilled, another arises, as though the heart is an empty cup that can never stay full. This cycle is as old as humankind, and tonight, as you lie here with eyes closed, you may notice how it still whispers within you. The mind offers promises. If only I had that, then I could be happy. If only tomorrow goes this way, then I could finally relax. Yet like sand slipping through the fingers, every fulfillment dissolves, leaving the same hunger behind. The Buddha named this thirst tanha, a craving that is never satisfied. He explained that it is the root of suffering, not because desire itself is evil, but because we mistake it for the path to peace. We chase after one shining image, only to find it fades, and then we run after the next. This is the wheel that turns endlessly, carrying us through restlessness, again and again. There is a parable of a man who, walking beside a river, saw a rainbow reflected on the water. Entranced by its colors, he reached down, trying to scoop it into his hands. Each time he grasped at it, the water rippled, and the rainbow vanished. Desperate, he tried again, growing more and more frantic, until exhaustion overcame him. At last, he sat on the riverbank, empty-handed. In stillness, the rainbow returned its beauty intact, shimmering softly across the surface. And then he understood. Beauty was never meant to be possessed. It was meant to be witnessed. So it is with all the desires we chase. They fade the moment we clutch them, yet when we sit quietly, they reveal their beauty on their own. The mind that grasps suffers. The mind that watches is free. Take a long, deep breath now. Inhale slowly, filling the lungs as though gathering the cool mist of a river at dawn. Exhale gently, releasing the restless hand that tries to catch what cannot be caught. Again, inhale, steady and full. Exhale, and feel your chest soften, your fingers loosen, as if you are setting down a net you no longer need to cast. Consider how often we live like that man at the river. Perhaps you bought something new, a garment, a phone, a possession, and for a moment, joy flared. Yet how quickly it dulled, becoming ordinary, leaving you searching again. Or perhaps you longed for someone's affection, and when it came, it did not silence the heart's hunger as you hoped. This is not your fault. It is simply the way of craving. Like fire, it consumes everything and yet still cries for more fuel. The Buddha taught the middle way, a path that neither denies desire harshly nor indulges it blindly. Instead, it asks us to see desire clearly, like watching clouds drift across the sky. When you do not run after them, when you do not demand that they stay, the craving loosens its grip. You discover something quieter, something more enduring, contentment. Imagine yourself now beneath a great tree, its branches wide, its roots deep. Around you, butterflies flit and dance, each butterfly a symbol of a desire, bright and alluring. You might want to catch them, to hold them close, but in doing so, you crush their wings. So instead, you watch them with soft eyes. They come, they go, and the tree continues to shade you. You realize you need not possess them to enjoy their beauty. Take another breath. Inhale, feeling the shade of the tree wrapping around you. Exhale, releasing the urge to reach for the butterflies. Inhale again, savoring the cool air. Exhale, resting in stillness, hands open, heart calm. There is a Zen saying, when you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Tonight, as you breathe, reflect gently on this. The restless mind insists on lack, whispering that something is missing. But if you look with stillness, you may notice the truth. Your breath is here, the bed is holding you, the night embraces you with its silence. Nothing is missing. Everything necessary is already present. The cycle of desire, in the modern world, often appears as endless searching, scrolling through images, moving quickly from one distraction to another. Each promise is like a spark, bright for a moment, then gone, leaving only the longing for the next. But sparks cannot warm the heart. Only a steady flame can. And that steady flame is found not by chasing outward, but by turning inward, resting in awareness itself. Imagine now that inside your chest is a lantern. It glows softly, without needing to be fueled by endless desires. It shines simply because it is your nature to shine. With each breath, the lantern grows warmer, steadier. You do not need to search for light elsewhere. It has always been within. Breathe deeply once more. Inhale, feel the glow spread through your body. Exhale, allow your muscles to loosen, your jaw to soften, your eyelids to grow heavier. Trust that in letting go of chasing, you will not fall into emptiness, you will fall into peace. The Buddha once compared craving to a man shot with an arrow. Struck, the man suffers pain. But then, in confusion, he picks up another arrow and drives it into himself. This is what we do when we cling to desire. The first arrow is the natural discomfort of life. The second arrow is the suffering we add by insisting it must be otherwise. Tonight, You may gently set down the second arrow. Pain may come, longing may arise, but you do not need to pierce yourself with clinging. You may let the wave pass, as all waves do. And so, as night deepens, picture yourself lying on the shore of an ocean. The tide moves in, the tide moves out. Each wave is a desire. Some rise high, some fade quickly, but none remain forever. You watch them come and go, their sound soothing, their rhythm steady. The ocean does not cling to a single wave, and neither must you. Let your breath become the tide. Inhale, the wave arrives. Exhale, the wave departs. Over and over, gently, endlessly. And with each cycle, you sink deeper into rest, more and more carried by the vast ocean of awareness. When the hunger of desire softens, another doorway opens, one that leads not to craving, but to appreciation. The Buddha once said, "Contentment is the greatest wealth." To live with gratitude is to discover that peace has been here all along, waiting like clear water beneath the soil. Gratitude is not about ignoring what is hard or pretending that suffering does not exist. It is the simple turning of the heart toward what is already present, whispering quietly, "This is enough." Tonight, as you lie here preparing for rest, allow yourself to notice the blessings that surround you, even in their simplicity. The air that fills your lungs, the bed that holds your body, the heart that has carried you, beat by steady beat, from your first breath to this very moment. When the mind stops racing for what is missing, it begins to see the miracle of what is here. There is a story told of a monk who traveled with an empty bowl. Wherever he went, villagers placed food inside. Sometimes the bowl was filled with rice and vegetables. Other times, only a few scraps. Yet, each time, the monk bowed deeply and ate with gratitude, never judging, never longing for more. One day, when a child asked him why he was always smiling, he said, "Because the bowl is never truly empty. Even when there is little, there is still something. And for that, I bow." So too, your own life contains much to bow toward, if you only pause to notice. Gratitude does not need grand gestures. It needs only the soft turning of attention. Place your hand gently on your heart now. Feel the warmth of your palm meeting the steady rhythm beneath. With each inhale, whisper silently, "Thank you for this breath." With each exhale, whisper, "Thank you for this life." Allow the words to ripple through your chest, spreading like ripples across still water. Gratitude is a lantern that transforms ordinary moments into treasures. Drinking water becomes a blessing. Hearing the sound of wind becomes a gift. The smile of a stranger becomes a reminder of shared humanity. When you rest in gratitude, you no longer need to chase happiness. It is already blooming where you stand. There is an ancient parable of two travelers. One carried a heavy bag of gold, always fearing it would be stolen. The other carried nothing but a simple clay cup. When they came upon a stream, the first man panicked, unable to protect his treasure as he tried to drink. The second knelt calmly, filled his cup with water, and drank deeply. He looked up and said, "Your wealth weighs you down. My wealth fills my thirst." Gratitude is like that clay cup, simple, light, but always enough. Take a long, gentle breath now. Inhale slowly, filling your lungs with freshness. Exhale, and imagine setting down the heavy bag of gold, the comparisons, the endless wants, the worry of loss. Inhale again, and picture the simple clay cup in your hands, filled with cool, sweet water. Exhale, and taste the satisfaction of enoughness. The poet Rumi once said, "Wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life." Tonight, imagine yourself wrapped in such a cloak. It is soft, woven of countless threads. Each thread a blessing, one for the people who have shown you kindness, one for the lessons you have learned, even when painful, one for the fact that you are here, alive, with the chance to rest. Wrapped in this cloak, you are warm, you are held, you are safe. Sometimes gratitude is hardest to find in the midst of suffering, yet even then, it can shine like a small flame in the dark. A woman once came to the Buddha, lamenting the endless struggles of her life. He asked her to place a candle in her home and notice how even the smallest flame can light an entire room. So it is with gratitude, he said. Even the smallest flame can illuminate the heart. Tonight, let your gratitude be that candle. It need not be grand. Even a whisper of thanks is enough to light the way into sleep. As you breathe now, let your body sink deeper into the bed. Feel your legs grow heavy, your arms rest loosely, your eyelids soften. Each exhale is a release, each inhale a gift. With each breath, whisper quietly in your mind, "Thank you. Thank you for the chance to rest. Thank you for the shelter that covers me. Thank you for this body, imperfect yet faithful. Thank you for this life, with all its tides and turns." Imagine now that you are sitting in a field at sunrise. The grass is cool with dew, the horizon painted with colors of dawn. As the light grows, each blade of grass glistens like a jewel. You realize that the field was always beautiful, but in the dark you could not see it. Gratitude is the light that reveals the jewels in what you already have. Tonight, let gratitude be your sunrise, illuminating the treasures hidden in the ordinary. Take another deep breath. Inhale the light of dawn. Exhale the night's heaviness. Inhale gratitude. Exhale rest. The Buddha once said, "Let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little, and if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick, and if we did get sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful." In his words is a reminder that gratitude is always possible, no matter the circumstance. And now, as you drift closer to sleep, let your last thoughts not be of what is lacking, but of what is here. The breath, the bed, the heart, the chance to begin again tomorrow. Gratitude is not the end of desire, it is the gentle antidote, the soft rain that soothes the fire of craving. Wrapped in its cloak, you may rest peacefully, knowing you are already enough. Even when we learn gratitude, even when the heart whispers enough, life still brings discomfort. There are aches in the body, losses that cannot be undone, and struggles that arrive uninvited. Many nights, as we lie down, these wounds feel sharper, for the silence gives them room to speak. It is natural to wish them away, to hope for a life without pain. But the Buddha's first teaching, his first noble truth, reminds us gently, suffering is woven into existence. To resist this truth is to fight the tide. To accept it is to discover freedom. The poet once said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." In the same way, discomfort is not merely an obstacle, it is a teacher. It reveals to us where we are clinging, where we are resisting, where we are still carrying what can be set down. The Buddha spoke of the parable of the two arrows. Imagine a man struck by an arrow. The first arrow is painful, sharp, unavoidable. That is the natural pain of life, sickness, loss, change, death. But then imagine that man taking another arrow and piercing himself again, this time by his own hand. That is the second arrow, the suffering we create by resisting, by asking endlessly, "Why me? Why now? Why must this be so?" The first arrow is inevitable. The second arrow is optional. Consider your own life for a moment. There have been arrows you could not escape, moments of heartbreak, disappointments, losses. But notice also how the mind added its own arrows. The replaying of events, the self-blame, the resentment. Tonight, as you rest, you are invited to set down the second arrow. The pain may still exist, but you need not double it with resistance. Take a slow, steady breath. Inhale, acknowledging the first arrow, the pain that is real. Exhale, releasing the second arrow, the extra weight added by the mind. Again, inhale, soft recognition. Exhale, gentle release. Little by little, the burden grows lighter. There is an old story of a farmer whose only horse ran away. His neighbors cried, "How terrible!" The farmer simply said, "Maybe." Days later, the horse returned, bringing with it several wild horses. The neighbors exclaimed, "How fortunate!" Again, the farmer replied, "Maybe." Soon after, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, fell, and broke his leg. "How unlucky," the villagers said. Again, the farmer answered, "Maybe." A week later, soldiers came to draft young men for war. Seeing the son's broken leg, they passed him by. The neighbors gasped, "How fortunate!" Still, the farmer only said, "Maybe." The story reminds us that what seems painful today may carry hidden gifts tomorrow, and what seems joyful today may bring challenges tomorrow. Life cannot be judged in fragments. The wise heart does not cling to labeling experiences as good or bad. It simply meets them, breath by breath, with openness. As you breathe now, imagine sitting before a fire. The flames rise, casting warmth and light. At first, you may be afraid of the heat, of the discomfort it brings. But slowly, you realize the fire is also what keeps you alive, what cooks your food, what lights your path. Discomfort is like this fire. It can burn, but it can also transform. Inhale deeply, feeling the fire's warmth fill your chest. Exhale gently, allowing the flames of resistance to settle into glowing embers. The fire remains, but now it warms instead of consumes. Discomfort teaches patience. It teaches compassion. When you have suffered, you understand the suffering of others more deeply. You learn to listen without judgment, to hold another's pain with tenderness. Like the lotus rising from mud, your heart becomes more luminous through what it has endured. There is a Zen teaching. Obstacles do not block the path, they are the path. Tonight, as you rest, you may whisper this to yourself. Whatever hardship lies before you, it is not an interruption to your journey, it is part of it, shaping you, deepening you, leading you inward to the still refuge that cannot be touched by pain. Allow your body to soften now. With each inhale, feel strength rising, steady and calm. With each exhale, imagine releasing the grip of resistance. Your shoulders grow heavier into the bed. Your jaw loosens. Your chest eases. The arrows fall away. What remains is simply the breath, moving in and out like waves upon the shore. There is a story of a young monk who asked his teacher, "Master, what is the secret of peace?" The master replied, "Good judgment." The monk asked, "And how does one gain good judgment?" The teacher answered, "Experience." "And how does one gain experience?" The master smiled, "Through bad judgment." The monk laughed, and in that moment understood mistakes, pain, discomfort are not failures. They are the very soil from which wisdom grows. So tonight, let the discomforts of your life rest not as enemies but as teachers. You need not solve them now. You need not make sense of them. Simply bow to them in your heart. Whisper thank you for the lessons not yet understood, and allow yourself to sleep. Breathe once more, slowly. Inhale courage. Exhale release. Inhale patience. Exhale peace. Inhale compassion. Exhale rest. The Buddha said, "As rain falls on both the just and the unjust, let your heart rest in compassion for all. So too, let your rest tonight be like the rain falling gently, evenly, on all parts of yourself, the strong and the wounded, the joyful and the grieving. Let it wash over you until you are soothed, until you are carried into sleep." Life often tempts us into extremes. We rush from indulgence to denial, from overwork to collapse, from seeking constant pleasure to swinging into guilt for wanting too much. The mind is restless, like a pendulum that never settles. Yet the Buddha discovered a path that was neither this nor that, a way that avoids the fire of excess and the dryness of deprivation. He called it the middle way. The middle way is not bland moderation, nor is it a dull refusal of life. It is the art of balance, like walking across a narrow bridge where each step is steady, neither leaning too far left nor too far right. Too much indulgence, and the heart grows heavy with craving. Too much austerity, and the body withers, the spirit hardens. But when balance is found, the body softens, the mind clears, and peace arises like a spring bubbling gently from the earth. There is a story from the life of Siddhartha before he became the Buddha. After leaving his palace of luxury, he practiced severe asceticism, fasting until his body was skeletal, meditating until his breath nearly ceased. He believed that by torturing the body, he could free the soul. But one day, weakened nearly to death, he heard a musician tuning a lute. If the string was pulled too tight, it snapped. If it was too loose, it made no sound. Only when the string was balanced did it produce music. In that moment, Siddhartha realized that the path to awakening was not in extremes, but in balance. That very day he took nourishment, regained his strength, and walked the middle way that would lead him to enlightenment. So too, tonight, you are invited into balance. To rest does not mean to abandon your life. To care for others does not mean to lose yourself. To enjoy the sweetness of the world does not mean to drown in it. The path is subtle, like the tuning of a lute, and it can only be walked one step at a time, one breath at a time. Take a slow, steady breath now. Inhale deeply, as though drawing harmony into your chest. Exhale softly, as though releasing the noise of extremes. Again, inhale balance. Exhale rest. Let the rhythm of your breath be the string, neither too tight nor too loose, producing the music of calm. Imagine yourself walking through a forest path at dusk. On one side lies a marsh, thick and heavy with mud, symbol of indulgence, where every step sinks and entangles. On the other side, a barren desert of cracked earth, symbol of denial, dry and lifeless. But before you is a path of soft soil, shaded by trees, lit by gentle lanterns. The air is fresh, the way is clear. With each step, you move forward easily, carried not by struggle but by balance. This is the middle way. Feel your body on the bed now. Not too tense, not too slack. Notice how comfort arises when you do not force yourself to be rigid, nor let yourself collapse. The body, like the lute, plays its music when tuned gently. There is a Zen story of a young monk who asked his master, "How shall I live the middle way?" The master poured him a cup of tea. He filled it halfway, then stopped. "Do you see," he said, "enough to quench the thirst, not so much that it spills." The young monk understood. Balance is not a rule to follow, but a listening to what is truly enough. Take another deep breath. Inhale and feel the tea pouring gently into your cup, enough to nourish. Exhale and trust that no more is needed. With each breath, allow the sense of enoughness to spread. Your body knows when to rest, Your heart knows when to open. Your spirit knows when to let go. You need not overfill. You need not empty completely. You may live in balance. The poet Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough." Tonight, whisper this truth to yourself as you drift. You do not need to master the world. You do not need to solve every question. You only need to rest in enoughness, in balance, in the gentle harmony of breath. Imagine yourself now as a tree standing at the edge of a meadow. When the storm winds blow, you bend, you do not break. When the sun shines fiercely, your leaves drink but you do not wither. In balance, you remain. Roots deep, branches wide, trunk steady. You take what is given, you release what is not needed, and still you grow. So too, your life can be lived in this rhythm. The storms will come, the heat will pass, but in balance, you endure. The middle way is not perfection, it is presence. It is knowing when to bend, when to stand, when to drink, when to rest. As you sink deeper into the night, let your breath guide you into balance. Inhale as the tide comes in, exhale as the tide flows out. Neither clinging nor rejecting, simply rising and falling in perfect rhythm. And now, as sleep approaches, imagine the sound of the lute playing softly in the distance. The strings are tuned just right, and the melody drifts through the forest of your mind, calming every thought, soothing every wound. This is the song of balance, the music of the middle way. Let it carry you gently, like a lullaby, into rest. Few things trouble the heart as much as the words of others. A single insult can echo in the mind for years, while a careless remark spoken in passing can weigh heavily as we try to fall asleep. Praise can feel like sunlight, criticism like storm clouds. Yet the Buddha taught that words are like wind, powerful when we hold on to them, harmless when we let them pass through. There is a story of a man who once shouted harsh words at the Buddha, accusing him of hypocrisy, of weakness, of falsehood. The Buddha simply listened, his face calm as the moon reflected on water. When the man finished, expecting an angry reply, the Buddha asked softly, "If someone brings you a gift, and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The man, startled, answered, "It remains with the one who offered it." The Buddha nodded gently. "So too with your anger. I do not accept it. It remains with you." This story carries a truth that can free us from the prison of criticism. Words may be hurled at us, but whether they wound us depends on whether we grasp them. If we let them pass, they dissolve like echoes fading in the wind. Think now of a moment when someone's words pierced you. Notice how your body remembers the tightening in the chest, the heat in the face, the restless churn of thoughts. Breathe slowly. Inhale, acknowledging the memory. Exhale, releasing it into the air. Imagine it as a feather carried by the breeze. You do not need to hold it anymore. Take another slow breath. With each inhale, feel yourself growing more spacious, like a wide sky. With each exhale, imagine the words of others drifting across that sky like passing clouds. Some are bright, some are dark, but none can stain the sky itself. You are that sky, vast, steady, untouched. A Zen teaching says, "The bamboo bends in the storm but does not break." In the same way, when harsh words arrive, you need not resist with hardness. Bend with them, let them pass, and return to your uprightness once they are gone. This is the strength of gentleness. There is another story of a monk who lived in a small village. Children would tease him as he walked, shouting names, mocking his robes. Each time, he smiled and bowed. One day, a traveler asked him, "How do you endure such cruelty with peace?" The monk replied, "When the wind blows, Do you hate the bamboo for swaying? The words of others are wind. I sway, then I stand again. Let these stories guide you tonight. When the noise of judgment echoes in your mind, you need not build walls of anger or sink into despair. You may simply sway, breathe, and let the wind pass through. Take a long breath now. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with calm. Exhale slowly, softening your shoulders, releasing the grip of remembered judgments. Place your hand gently on your chest. Whisper inwardly, "Their words are not me. I am the quiet watcher. I am the steady breath." Criticism often hurts most when it touches the places where we doubt ourselves. But know this: no words from another can define your worth. The Buddha said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." Your value is not in the shifting opinions of others. It is in the steady steps you take on your own path. Imagine yourself walking along a beach at low tide. The sand is smooth, the waves gentle. Someone throws a stone into the water. For a moment, ripples spread across the surface. But soon the sea is calm again, vast and unbothered. So too, the words of others are stones thrown into your mind. They create ripples, yes, but only if you continue to stir them. Left alone, they fade, and the sea remains. Breathe again. Inhale the vastness of the ocean. Exhale the fading of the ripples. Inhale spaciousness. Exhale calm. There is a practice called metta, loving kindness, that can soften even the sting of insult. Instead of clinging to the words, we offer compassion to ourselves and even to the one who spoke them. For those who speak harshly are often carrying pain of their own. They throw arrows because they themselves are wounded. To see this is not to excuse cruelty, but to free yourself from hatred. As you lie here, think of someone whose words once hurt you. Breathe gently and repeat silently, "May I be at peace. May I be free from harm. May they be at peace. May they be free from harm." Notice how the heart softens when compassion replaces anger, how lightness arises where heaviness once lived. The poet once wrote, "Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace." Tonight, make this your vow. The world will speak, the winds will blow, but your peace is your own. Your sky is vast, your ocean steady. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine that every word spoken against you in the past transforms now into petals. They drift softly to the ground, harmless, gentle, fading into the soil. They can no longer wound you. They only nourish the earth from which flowers grow. Let your body melt further into the bed. Your brow loosens. Your jaw softens. Your hands rest easily at your sides. With each exhale, release another knot of judgment. With each inhale, invite in compassion. And when you feel the weight of words return in the future, remember the Buddha's calm face, the monk's gentle bow, the bamboo swaying in the storm. You need not resist. You need not accept. You need only breathe and allow the wind to pass. Even as we learn to face words without clinging, still we must walk among others, for life is woven of relationships. Every day, we meet people who are kind, people who are indifferent, people who are difficult. Some offer warmth, others bring challenge, and many drift between the two like clouds changing shape. The Buddha reminded us that no one is free from this web of connection. To live in peace is not to escape people, but to meet them with compassion. Compassion, or karuna, is the deep wish for others to be free from suffering. It does not mean we agree with everyone, nor that we allow harm to continue unchecked. It is simply the recognition that, like us, all beings struggle. Even the harshest person carries pain. Even the most difficult person longs for peace, though they may not know how to find it. There is a gentle story of a monk who tended a small garden beside his hut. He watered the flowers each day, but he also watered the weeds. A visitor asked him, puzzled, "Why do you nourish the weeds? They will only spread." The monk smiled and said, "The weeds too are alive, seeking the Sunday when the time is right. They may bloom into something unexpected. Until then, I offer them the same care as the flowers." This story reminds us that compassion is not selective. It does not only shine on those who please us. It extends even to those who irritate, even to those who wound, for all are part of the same field of life. To meet others with compassion is to water both flowers and weeds, trusting that all are transformed in their time. As you breathe now, think of someone in your life who is easy to love. Picture their face, their smile, the warmth they bring. Inhale and send them silent words. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. Feel how natural it is to wish them well. Now think of someone neutral, someone who barely touches your life. Perhaps a stranger you saw today, the driver of a bus, the cashier at a store. Inhale and offer them the same wish. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. Notice how the heart can expand beyond personal ties. Finally, think of someone who has been difficult for you. Perhaps their words cut or their actions hurt. The heart may resist, but breathe gently and whisper, "May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering." You do not excuse their harm, but you recognize their humanity, their struggle. In this recognition, your own chains of anger loosen. Take a long breath. Inhale, feeling compassion expand like ripples on a pond. Exhale, letting those ripples travel outward, touching friend, stranger, and even foe. The pond does not choose which shore to touch. The ripples reach all. There is a Zen story of a traveler who found an inn late at night. Hungry, he asked the innkeeper for food. The innkeeper offered him a simple bowl of rice. The traveler ate, grateful. Later that night, another guest arrived, loud and arrogant, demanding a feast. The innkeeper gave him the same bowl of rice. Furious, the guest shouted, "How dare you serve me the same food as that beggar?" The innkeeper replied calmly, "The rice does not change. Only your view of it does." Compassion is like the rice, simple, steady, the same for all. It is our perception that shifts, but the gift remains equal. As you lie here, let compassion become the rice of your heart, simple, steady, nourishing. Offer it equally, without preference, without judgment. You will find that in giving it, you yourself are nourished. The Buddha taught that hatred never ends through hatred, but only through love. To meet anger with anger is to add fuel to a fire, but to meet anger with compassion is to offer water. Even if the fire rages on, you yourself remain unburned. Imagine now that your heart is a great lamp, shining warm light. Around you gather people, those you love, those you know little, those who have caused you pain. One by one, they are bathed in the lamp's glow. They do not need to change for the light to shine on them. The lamp shines because that is its nature. So too, compassion is your nature. Take another deep breath. Inhale, the lamp glows brighter. Exhale, the light spreads farther. Inhale, compassion rises within. Exhale, it flows outward, touching all. The poet once wrote, "Your task is not to seek love, but to remove the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Tonight, let your barriers soften. Let the walls around your heart dissolve, brick by brick, until only light remains. And as you drift closer to sleep, let compassion be your pillow. Rest your head upon it, knowing that as you care for others, you are also caring for yourself. For in wishing them peace, you remind your own heart what peace feels like. In wishing them freedom, you step into freedom yourself. Even when we cultivate compassion, there are wounds that seem too deep, betrayals too sharp, memories that cling tightly to the heart. These are the places where forgiveness feels impossible, and yet the Buddha taught that forgiveness is not a gift we give to another, it is a liberation we offer ourselves. To forgive does not mean to condone harm, nor to forget what has been done. It means to stop carrying the burning coal, to stop drinking the poison, to release the knot that tightens endlessly inside. There is a story from the time of the Buddha about a man named Angulimala. He was feared throughout the land, a bandit who killed many, stringing a necklace of fingers around his neck. His name itself meant garland of fingers. One day, as he roamed the forest, he saw the Buddha walking calmly along the path. Angulimala chased after him, but no matter how fast he ran, the Buddha always seemed just out of reach, walking steadily, effortlessly. Finally, in frustration, Angulimala shouted, "Stop, monk." The Buddha turned and said, "I have stopped. It is you who have not stopped." Something in those words pierced Angulimala's heart. He fell to his knees, trembling. In that moment, he laid down his weapons and asked to follow the Buddha. Many resisted his transformation, angry at his crimes, but the Buddha accepted him as a disciple. Over time, Angulimala became gentle, and when he died, the Buddha declared that though he had done great harm, his sincere repentance had brought him peace. This story carries a deep lesson. If even the cruelest can find transformation, then forgiveness is never beyond reach. Not because we excuse harm, but because we see that to cling to hatred is to chain ourselves to the past. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks our own cell. As you breathe now, bring to mind someone who has hurt you. The thought may tighten your chest, may stir old pain. Place your hand gently over your heart. Inhale, feeling the knot. Exhale, imagining it loosening, thread by thread. Whisper softly in your mind, "I release this burden. I will not carry it into my sleep." Take another slow breath. Inhale, acknowledging the pain without denial. Exhale, letting go of the need to keep it alive. Each breath is a gentle untying, like fingers working at a knotted rope until it softens and falls open. Forgiveness is not a single act, but a practice, like walking a path step by step. Some nights you may feel closer, other nights farther. But every exhale is a chance to release, even a little. And in this releasing, your heart grows lighter, your rest deeper. The Buddha once said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love." This is the eternal law. When we hold on to anger, we harm ourselves most of all. We drink bitterness while hoping the other will suffer. But when we release, when we choose compassion, even for our own wounded heart, we taste freedom. Imagine now that your chest is filled with knots, tight cords of resentment, anger, sorrow. With each breath, one cord untangles. With each exhale, one knot falls away. Soon, the chest is spacious, open, filled with light. You are no longer bound by what was done. You are free to breathe deeply, to sleep peacefully. There is another story of two monks. One carried a heavy sack across the mountains, groaning with its weight. The other walked empty-handed, smiling. At last, the weary monk asked, "Brother, why do you not help me carry this load?" The other replied, "Brother, why do you carry it at all?" So too, with our grudges, our wounds, we carry them, as though they were required. Yet at any moment we may set them down. Take a deep breath now. Inhale, feeling the heaviness of what you still carry. Exhale, placing the sack gently on the earth. The earth can hold it. You no longer need to. The poet once wrote, "Forgiveness is the fragrance the violet sheds on the heel that crushed it." You do not need to become the wound. You can become the fragrance. This is the strength of the awakened heart, to turn harm into compassion, to turn bitterness into wisdom, to turn darkness into light. As you sink deeper into the night, imagine yourself standing in a meadow. Around your feet are stones, each one carved with the memory of a hurt. One by one, you pick them up and place them in a flowing stream. The water carries them away, down into the vast ocean. Soon, your hands are empty, the meadow is clear, and you are lighter. You lie down in the grass, the stars above you, the stream singing softly nearby. In this lightness, forgiveness has begun. Breathe again. Inhale peace. Exhale release. Inhale compassion. Exhale rest. Each cycle carries you closer to freedom, closer to sleep, closer to the vast embrace of letting go. Forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. Tonight, let it be the pillow beneath your head, the blanket across your chest, the lantern that glows in your heart. As you forgive, you are not excusing. You are choosing peace. You are choosing rest. Even as forgiveness loosens the knots of the heart, life will still place challenges before you. No one can walk this path without stumbling. No one can live without tasting both joy and sorrow. What matters is not that we fall, but that we rise again, with patience and tenderness toward ourselves. This rising is called resilience, the quiet strength of returning again and again to the breath, to the present, to peace. A Zen teaching says, "Fall 7 times, rise 8. It does not mean we will always be strong, or that we will never feel despair. It means that no matter how many times the world pushes us down, something within us, the deep resilience of our spirit, lifts us again. Each fall is not failure, but part of the rhythm of living. The Buddha taught that suffering is inevitable, but how we meet it is our freedom. When storms come, the weak tree snaps, but the bamboo bends and rises upright once more. Resilience is not hardness, but flexibility. It is the willingness to bend with the winds of change, to yield without breaking, to rise again after every fall. Take a slow breath now. Inhale deeply, feeling your chest expand as if drawing strength from the roots of the earth. Exhale gently, releasing doubt, fear, the weight of past stumbles. Again, inhale strength. Exhale release. Inhale calm. Exhale rest. Let this rhythm remind you that resilience is already within your breath, the inhale rising, the exhale falling, again and again, without end. There is a story of a monk who carried a clay bowl each day to gather food. One day, the bowl slipped from his hands and shattered on the stone path. The young novices around him gasped, waiting for anger or grief. But the monk simply bowed and said, "Sow it, island." Then he picked up the pieces, and with patience, he shaped them into a mosaic that decorated the temple wall. What seemed broken became part of a greater beauty. This is resilience, not avoiding the shattering, but finding a way to shine through it. Think now of moments in your life when you have felt broken. Notice how you endured, how even in the darkest nights, something in you carried on until morning. That something is resilience, quiet and steady, present even when unseen. Tonight, let yourself rest in trust of that strength. You do not need to prove it. You need only to remember it. There is a practice taught in Buddhism called anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. When storms arise, the practice is to return, again and again, to the breath. It may seem small, but it is the essence of resilience, the returning, not once, not twice, but countless times. Each return is a rising, each return a quiet act of courage. As you lie here, place your attention gently on the breath. Feel the coolness of the inhale entering your nose. Feel the warmth of the exhale leaving. Notice how the breath rises and falls on its own. You do not force it, yet it continues faithfully. So too with your life. Through every storm, through every fall, something in you continues, carrying you gently forward. There is a Zen poem that says, "The willow bends with the storm. Its branches brush the ground, yet when the wind is gone, it stands tall again." Tonight, let yourself be the willow. Bend if you must, yield if you need, but trust that you will stand again. Take another deep breath. Inhale, gather strength. Exhale, release fear. Inhale, rise. Exhale, soften. Each cycle strengthens the heart, reminding you that resilience is not loud, not dramatic. It is quiet, patient, steady as the tide. Sometimes, resilience means not rising right away. It means resting, healing, giving the body and soul time to recover. There is no shame in this. Even the moon does not shine fully every night. Even the seasons need time to turn. Trust your own rhythm. Trust that resilience can mean pausing, just as much as it means moving. Imagine now that you are standing at the edge of the sea. A wave crashes, knocking you down. At first you resist, flailing, frightened. But then you remember, the wave will pass. You let go, you float, and when the sea calms, you stand again. This is the way of resilience, trusting the passing of storms, trusting your ability to rise once more. The Buddha said, "Endurance is one of the highest practices." Endurance does not mean gritting your teeth forever. It means carrying patience in your heart, knowing that all things change, that no storm lasts, that the night always gives way to dawn. As you sink deeper into your bed, let your body feel heavy, supported, safe. With each exhale, release the weight of needing to be strong all the time. With each inhale, receive the quiet strength that comes simply from being alive. You have already endured so much. You are already resilient. The poet once wrote, "Courage does not always roar. Sometimes it is the quiet voice at the end of the day that says, 'I will try again tomorrow.'" Let that quiet voice be yours tonight. You do not need to solve everything now. You need only to rest, trusting that tomorrow will bring its own strength. Breathe slowly. Inhale resilience, exhale rest. Inhale courage, exhale peace. Inhale love, exhale release. Each breath is a rising, each exhale a soft return, carrying you deeper into sleep. Beyond resilience lies a deeper gift, the gift of stillness. When storms subside, when waves quiet, the ocean reveals its calm face, vast, unbroken, endless. In the same way, beneath all thoughts, emotions, and struggles, your mind too has an ocean of stillness. Tonight, you are invited to rest upon that ocean, to let it carry you into the quiet depths of peace. The Buddha compared meditation to a raft. We build it from what is near our breath, our awareness, our patience, and then we use it to cross the river of restlessness. Once we reach the other shore, the raft is no longer needed. Stillness carries us. There is a story told of two monks who once set out to cross a wide, stormy sea in a small boat. The younger monk panicked as the waves crashed around them, certain they would sink. The elder monk, however, sat calmly, his eyes half closed, hands folded in his lap. "Master," the young one cried, "how can you be so calm when death may come at any moment?" The elder replied, "Each wave rises and falls. Each breath comes and goes. If I fight them, I drown. If I rest with them, I float." In time, the storm passed, and they reached the shore unharmed. So too, the storms of the mind may seem overwhelming. Thoughts rise like waves, crashing loudly, threatening to pull you under. But if you fight them, they only grow stronger. If you rest with them, letting them rise and fall, you discover that the ocean itself holds you, that stillness is always beneath the surface. Take a long, gentle breath now. Inhale, feeling the wave rise within you. Exhale, letting it fall back into the sea. Again, inhale, the wave rising. Exhale, the wave dissolving. Notice how the breath itself is the ocean's rhythm, steady, endless, never ceasing. Imagine yourself lying on a small raft upon a vast sea at night. The stars are reflected in the water, the sky infinite above you. At first, waves rock you, and you tense, fearing the sway. But slowly, you realize the rocking is gentle, like a lullaby. The raft does not sink. The ocean does not mean you harm. You are held safe, floating upon stillness. The Buddha once said, "Within this very body and mind lies the whole universe." This ocean of stillness is not outside you, it is your own true nature. You need not travel far to find it. It is here, in each breath, in each heartbeat, in the silence beneath thought. Take another slow breath. Inhale and feel yourself floating higher on the wave. Exhale and feel yourself sinking softly into stillness. Inhale, buoyed upward. Exhale, drifting deeper. You are the raft, you are the ocean, you are the sky, boundless, steady, serene. There is a Zen koan. What is the sound of the single hand? The question is not meant for the mind to answer. It is meant to open the door to silence, to draw you into the ocean beneath words. Tonight, listen for that silence. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness. Like the quiet glow of the moon, it is always there, even when clouds pass. As you lie here, imagine your mind as a lake. Throughout the day, stones of worry have been thrown into it, each conversation, each stress, each regret. Ripples spread across the surface, making the water restless. But now, as night deepens, no more stones are thrown. The ripples fade, the surface clears, and the stars reflect perfectly upon it. This is your mind at rest, your ocean of stillness revealed. Feel your body soften into this stillness. Your shoulders drop, your chest loosens, your legs grow heavy, your hands rest easily. With each exhale, you sink deeper into the water's embrace, safe, supported, held. There is a practice among monks to imagine themselves as mountains during meditation. No matter how winds blow, how storms rage, the mountain remains unmoved, its stillness deeper than the weather. Tonight, let yourself be the mountain. Strong, steady, rooted in the earth. Clouds pass, winds howl, but you remain. The stillness of the mountain is your stillness. Take a slow breath. Inhale, mountain rising. Exhale, mountain resting. Inhale, strength. Exhale, stillness. Let this rhythm carry you inward until the noise of the world fades, until only quiet remains. The poet once said, "Inside you, there's an ocean of peace. Don't wander around outside. Don't waste your time with fighting waves. Come sit beside the shore within." Tonight, you have come to that shore. Here, no striving is needed. No chasing, no resisting. Only breathing, only resting, only being. And as you drift, let your final thought before sleep be this: I am carried, I am safe, I am the stillness beneath the waves. Let this truth cradle you, as the raft cradles the monk, as the ocean cradles the stars. In stillness, sleep comes like a tide, gentle, inevitable, carrying you into peace. There is a peace deeper, even than stillness, the peace of acceptance. To accept does not mean to give up, nor does it mean to love every circumstance. Acceptance means to flow with life as it is, instead of exhausting yourself by demanding that it be otherwise. The Buddha taught, why resist what is already here? To wish things to be different is to add another layer of suffering upon suffering. Imagine standing beside a wide river. Its current moves steadily, carrying leaves, branches, and blossoms downstream. If you fight against the current, thrashing your arms, you grow weary, exhausted, pulled under by the force of resistance. But if you lie back and float, the river carries you effortlessly. Life is this river. Acceptance is floating. Often we believe that peace will come when everything finally aligns with our wishes, when every task is finished, when every wound is healed, when every desire is fulfilled. But peace does not wait on perfection. Peace is available in this breath, in this moment. When we stop struggling against what already island. There is a story told of a monk who was asked how he remained calm when insulted, when hungry, when weary. He replied, when I am hungry, I eat. When I am tired, I sleep. When insulted, I let the words pass. My peace comes not from controlling the world, but from allowing it to be the world. The simplicity of his words reveals the heart of acceptance. As you lie here, notice the ways your mind resists. Perhaps it replays what happened today, wishing it had gone differently. Perhaps it leaps into tomorrow, demanding things go exactly as planned. With each inhale, recognize this resistance. With each exhale, let it soften, as though surrendering to the river's current. You do not need to fix everything tonight. You do not need to know what tomorrow will bring. You only need to rest in what is here. Your breath, your body, your being. Take a deep breath now. Inhale, feel the body rise gently with the river. Exhale, let yourself float, muscles loosening, heart softening. Again, inhale, rising with the current. Exhale, drifting with ease. There is a Zen saying, sitting quietly, doing nothing. Spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. Life unfolds without our endless struggle. The seasons turn, the flowers bloom, the stars wheel across the sky. You do not force them. So too, your own healing, your own peace, will come naturally if you stop grasping. Trust the grass to grow. Trust your heart to rest. Imagine now that you are lying upon the earth itself. You feel the weight of your body sink into the soil, as if cradled by a mother's arms. The earth does not demand that you be different. It does not ask that you be perfect. It accepts you exactly as you are, tired, imperfect, longing, human. Acceptance begins when you treat yourself as the earth treats you, with unconditional holding. Place your hand gently on your chest. Whisper softly inside, I am enough as I am. This moment is enough as it island. Let the words echo like a lullaby within your heart. With each exhale, let go of the struggle to be elsewhere, to be other than you are. With each inhale, rest in the completeness of this breath, this body, this night. There is another story, this one of a farmer who lived through many changes of fortune. His horse ran away, and neighbors cried, "How unfortunate." The farmer simply said, "Maybe." The horse returned, bringing others, and the neighbors exclaimed, "How fortunate." Still he said, "Maybe." His son broke his leg taming one of the new horses. "How terrible," they lamented. "Maybe," the farmer replied. Soon after, war came, and all young men were conscripted, except his son, whose broken leg spared him. Again, The farmer simply said, "Maybe." The story teaches that acceptance does not cling to judgment. It allows events to unfold, knowing that what seems good or bad may change with time. Take another breath. Inhale, welcoming what island. Exhale, releasing the need to label it as good or bad. Inhale, receiving the present. Exhale, resting in trust. Acceptance is the gentle turning of the heart toward what is here. It does not ask for perfection. It does not ask for control. It asks only for surrender. As the river carries the leaf, as the earth holds the seed, as the night embraces the stars, so too you are carried, held, embraced. Feel your body sink deeper into the bed. Your jaw softens, your shoulders relax. Your arms grow heavy, your legs restful. You are floating now, not in water, but in the vast river of life itself. The current carries you toward sleep, toward healing, toward peace. You do not need to swim. You need only to let go. The Buddha once said, "Be like the earth, unmoved by what is pleasant or unpleasant. Be like the river, flowing without resistance. Be like the sky, holding all without grasping." Tonight, let yourself be earth, river, sky, in stillness, in flow, in spaciousness. And as you drift, whisper once more in your heart, "This is enough. I am enough. This moment is enough." Let these words become the gentle boat that carries you into rest. Loss is the shadow that visits every life. It comes when we least expect it. It takes what we cannot imagine living without, and it leaves us with an emptiness we struggle to name. In the stillness of night, memories of loss often rise like ghosts, faces no longer here, moments that cannot return, futures that dissolved before they arrived. It is natural to feel grief, for grief is love that has nowhere to go. And yet, the Buddha teaches that loss, too, carries lessons, that even in sorrow, there is the seed of compassion and awakening. There is the story of Kisa Gotami, a young mother whose only child died. Overcome with grief, she carried the small body from house to house, begging for medicine to restore him. Her eyes were wild with desperation, her heart broken beyond measure. At last, she was brought to the Buddha. He listened with deep compassion, then said, "Yes, I will help you. But first, bring me a mustard seed from a household that has never known death." Hope sparked in her chest. She went eagerly, knocking on doors, asking for a seed. Every family offered her one. But when she asked if they had known death, each shook their head sadly. A parent lost, a child gone, a husband passed, a sister buried. Not a single house was free from sorrow. At last, Kisa Gotami returned to the Buddha with empty hands, but her heart had begun to awaken. She understood now that death touches all, that no life escapes impermanence, and though her grief remained, she no longer carried it alone. This story reminds us that loss is universal. Every home holds its own empty chair, every heart carries its own absence. To know this is to realize that in grief we are never isolated. We are joined in the vast web of human sorrow, and in that shared truth, compassion blooms. As you breathe now, allow yourself to feel whatever grief is present in your heart. Do not push it away. Do not demand it be gone. Inhale gently, acknowledging the love that lingers. Exhale softly, letting the heaviness rest in the hands of the universe. You do not need to carry it all alone. Take another slow breath. Inhale, feeling the ache. Exhale, feeling the earth beneath you, holding it too. Inhale, recognizing the sorrow. Exhale, joining your sorrow to the countless others who have walked this path. You are not alone. Loss teaches us how precious life, island, Each moment is fragile, each face fleeting, each embrace a passing miracle. When we live as though we and those we love will remain forever, we take them for granted. But when we remember impermanence, we soften. We forgive quicker. We cherish deeper. We say, "I love you," while there is still time. In this way, loss is not only an ending, it is a teacher urging us to live more fully. Imagine yourself walking through a quiet village at dusk. In each home you pass, you see small lanterns glowing in the windows. Some lanterns honor those still living, some honor those gone. You realize that every flame represents a story, a family, a love, a grief. The village is filled not only with loss, but also with memory, with devotion, with light. So too in the world, each person you meet carries both joy and grief, both presence and absence. When you see this, your heart naturally grows tender. Take a deep breath. Inhale, drawing in compassion for your own losses. Exhale, extending compassion to the losses of others. Inhale, embracing your own heart. Exhale, embracing the world. The Buddha said, "In this world, death is certain. What is uncertain is the hour." These words may sound heavy, but they are not meant to frighten. They are meant to awaken gratitude. For if nothing is guaranteed, then every moment is a gift. This breath, this night, this chance to rest, it is all precious. It is all rare. Place your hand softly over your heart. Feel its steady beat, its quiet loyalty. Whisper inwardly, "Thank you for carrying me through loss. Thank you for keeping me alive in love." Let your hand rest there as a gesture of kindness toward yourself. There is another parable told of a grieving disciple who asked his teacher, "Why must those we love die?" The teacher handed him a clay cup and said, "Drink from it, enjoy its coolness. But remember, this cup is already broken." The disciple looked confused. The teacher continued, "One day, the cup will crack or fall, and you will grieve if you believed it would last forever. But if you understand it is already broken, you will cherish it more deeply while it is whole." So too, with those we love, knowing they are impermanent, we hold them more tenderly while they are here. As you lie here, think of those you have loved and lost. Let memories rise gently, like petals floating on water. Do not chase them, do not clutch them. Simply let them drift, honoring their beauty. Whisper silently, "I love you, I release you. May you be at peace." Feel how these words soften the ache, how they transform grief into a blessing. Take another slow breath. Inhale, gathering love. Exhale, letting it flow toward those who are gone, carried on the wind like a prayer. Inhale, filling your chest with light. Exhale, releasing sorrow into the night sky. Loss reminds us that we, too, are impermanent. One day, others will speak our names as memory. This truth need not fill us with fear. It can awaken us to live gently, to live kindly, to live as though each step matters. Tonight, let it inspire not anxiety but presence. For here, in this breath, you are alive, and life is already enough. Imagine yourself now standing beneath a night sky filled with stars. Each star is a soul, some shining brightly, some already gone, their light still traveling toward us. You realize that those stars vanish, their glow remains, crossing space and time. So too with those we love, their light remains in our hearts, in our actions, in our memories. They are gone, yet not gone. They live in the light they left behind. Let yourself rest in this starlight. Feel it washing over you, soft and gentle. With each breath, let the sorrow ease, let the love remain. You are surrounded by countless lights, countless lives, all part of the same infinite sky. Craving is a thread that runs through every heart. Sometimes it is sharp, a burning hunger for what we do not have. Sometimes it is subtle, a quiet tug toward what we think will complete us. It may disguise itself as ambition, longing, or even love. Yet beneath each disguise, the craving whispers the same promise. If only I had this, then I would be at peace. But the Buddha taught that craving tanha is the root of suffering. For when we cling to what is always changing, we chain our hearts to restlessness. Imagine holding tightly to a rope tied to a moving cart. The rope burns your hands, your muscles ache, yet still you cling because you fear letting go. Only when you finally release it do you discover relief. Craving is like that rope. We hold tightly to desires, fearing that without them we will fall into emptiness. But when we let go, we do not fall, we float. We discover that the emptiness we feared is in truth spaciousness, freedom. Take a slow, steady breath now. Inhale, noticing the tension in your chest, the subtle grip of craving. Exhale, imagining your hands unclenching, the rope slipping away. Inhale, feeling your body lighten. Exhale, letting yourself drift gently, supported by the great current of life. There is a story of a king who owned a magnificent jewel, said to be the most precious in the land. He guarded it day and night, unable to rest for fear it would be stolen. One evening, exhausted, he fell into a deep sleep. While he slept, a servant quietly removed the jewel and placed it into the king's own pocket. When the king awoke and reached for it, panic seized him. He thought it was gone. But when he searched, he discovered it resting against his heart all along. The jewel was never lost. His fear had blinded him to its presence. So it is with peace. We chase it outside, believing it exists in possessions, in status, in achievements. Yet, it has always been here, quietly glowing within us. The Buddha said, "There is no fire like desire, no chain like hatred, no snare like delusion." Desire consumes without ever being satisfied. Hatred binds us to those we despise. Delusion tricks us into searching outward for what was always inward. Tonight, you may lay down all three. Breathe slowly. Inhale, acknowledging the fire of craving. Exhale, cooling it with stillness. Inhale, noticing the chain of resentment. Exhale, unlocking it with compassion. Inhale, seeing through delusion. Exhale, resting in clarity. Sometimes, craving takes the form of endless striving. We tell ourselves, "I will rest once I achieve this. I will be happy once I arrive there." Yet, like a horizon, the goal moves farther each time we approach. The path of wisdom is not to stop walking, but to stop chasing the horizon. Rest is not at the end of striving, it is available in this very step, in this very breath. Imagine yourself walking through a meadow. At first, your eyes are fixed on the far hill, straining to reach it. But then you pause. You notice the wild flowers at your feet, their fragrance rising in the cool air. You hear the song of a bird, the rustle of grass. Suddenly, the meadow itself becomes enough. The hill remains, but you are no longer enslaved to reaching it. This is freedom from craving, finding completeness in the step itself. Take another slow breath. Inhale, gathering the sweetness of this moment. Exhale, releasing the urgency to be elsewhere. Whisper silently, "This breath is enough. This moment is enough. I am enough." There is a Zen story of a man chased by tigers. He ran until he reached a cliff, where he grabbed a vine and hung suspended. Above him, the tigers growled. Below him, more tigers waited. Then he saw a small strawberry growing nearby. Holding the vine with one hand, he plucked the berry with the other and ate it. The taste was sweet. The story does not deny danger, nor does it promise safety. It teaches that even amid uncertainty, freedom comes when we savor the moment instead of clinging to fear. As you lie here, think of your own strawberry, the simple sweetness available even now. Perhaps it is the breath moving in your body. Perhaps it is the softness of the bed beneath you. Perhaps it is the memory of someone you love. Let it be enough. Taste it fully. The Buddha compared craving to a dog chewing a dry bone. The dog thinks it tastes meat, but only cuts its own gums, mistaking blood for nourishment. So too, we often chase what only wounds us, mistaking it for joy. But when we set down the bone, when we stop gnawing endlessly, we discover real nourishment in presence, in contentment, in stillness. Take another deep breath. Inhale, sensing the craving dissolve. Exhale, resting in spaciousness. Inhale, freedom. Exhale, peace. Imagine now that you are floating in a vast sky. Clouds pass, representing desires, some soft, some stormy. At first, you reach to grasp them, but your hands only pass through. At last, you stop reaching, and in stillness, you notice the sky itself boundless, endless, free. You realize that the sky was always there, hidden by your grasping. Tonight, rest as the sky. Watch desires pass, but do not chase them. Let them drift on the wind. Your freedom is already here, and as you sink deeper toward sleep, let these words linger in your heart. Letting go is not loss. It is the discovery of what was always yours: peace, spaciousness, freedom. When craving loosens its grip, a quiet joy begins to reveal itself, the joy of simplicity. We spend so much of life chasing after what is grand, believing happiness must be found in rare treasures, extraordinary events, distant horizons. Yet, the Buddha reminded us that peace is not hidden in faraway places. It is here, in the ordinary, waiting for us to notice. Simplicity is the taste of water when you are thirsty. It is the sound of rain tapping on a roof. It is the breath moving gently through your body. When we learn to love the simple, we discover that life is already overflowing with gifts. There is a story of a Zen monk who swept the temple courtyard each morning. The yard was covered with fallen leaves, and each day he carefully brushed them aside. A visitor once asked him, "Why sweep every day when more leaves will fall tomorrow?" The monk smiled and replied, "Yes, but today the ground will be clear." His joy was not in finishing a task forever, but in the act itself, in the simple rhythm of sweeping, in the sound of the broom across the stone. The leaves would return, but so would his joy. So too, your own life is filled with leaves that fall each day, tasks that must be repeated, routines that seem small. Yet within them is hidden peace, if we bring awareness. Washing a dish can be a meditation. Folding a shirt can be a prayer. Drinking tea can be a ceremony. When we slow down and savor, the ordinary shines. Take a slow breath now. Inhale, noticing the air itself as a gift. Exhale, letting gratitude soften your body. Again, inhale, savoring the rise of your chest. Exhale, releasing into rest. Even this simple act, breathing, is a miracle when we truly see it. The Buddha once said, "Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts." Simplicity trains us to see freshly, to feel directly, to encounter life, not as an endless list of demands, but as a series of small, luminous moments. Imagine yourself walking barefoot across a garden path. You feel the cool earth beneath your feet, hear the soft rustle of leaves, smell the fragrance of blossoms. Nothing is extraordinary, and yet everything feels alive. You pause by a single flower, noticing the delicate curve of its petals, the way it leans toward the sunday. For this moment, the flower is enough. The path is enough. The breath is enough. There is a Zen saying, when drinking tea, just drink tea. It sounds simple, even obvious. Yet how often do we drink tea while scrolling through thoughts, while rushing toward the next moment? To just drink tea means to be wholly present. To let the warmth of the cup fill your hands, to taste the steam rising, to notice the flavor on your tongue. In this presence, even tea becomes sacred. Take another deep breath. Inhale, imagine holding a warm cup of tea. Exhale, feel the comfort spread through your chest. Inhale, taste its sweetness. Exhale, savor its warmth. Let this simple act become your meditation tonight. The poet once wrote, "The little things, the little moments, they aren't little." Simplicity shows us this truth. It reveals that joy is not something we must chase, but something we uncover, like lifting a veil from what was always there. Consider the child who laughs at a butterfly, the elder who delights in a sunrise, the monk who smiles while sweeping leaves. Their happiness does not come from wealth or grandeur, but from presence. The butterfly, the sunrise, the broom, all are doorways to peace when entered with awareness. As you lie here, notice the simple gifts around you. The softness of the pillow beneath your head, the steady rhythm of your breath, the quiet of the night. Let them be enough. Whisper inwardly, "This is enough. This is joy." There is another story of a monk who was asked what enlightenment felt like. He replied, "Chop wood, carry water." When pressed further, he smiled and said, "Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water." The difference was not in the tasks themselves, but in the awareness with which they were done. With mindfulness, the ordinary becomes radiant. Take a slow breath. Inhale, feeling the ordinariness of this moment. Exhale, noticing its quiet beauty. Inhale, simple presence. Exhale, simple joy. Imagine yourself now sweeping a temple yard at dawn. The sky glows with early light, the air cool and fresh. Each stroke of the broom is a meditation. The sound is steady, soothing, like the rhythm of the breath. With each sweep, the ground clears. With each sweep, your mind clears. Leaves will fall again. But for now, the yard is open. The path is visible, and your heart is light. Simplicity is not deprivation. It is abundance revealed. When we stop crowding life with endless desires, we see how much is already here. The bowl is full, the cup is sweet, the moment complete. As you sink deeper into rest, let this truth cradle you. Happiness is not hidden in tomorrow. It is here, in this breath, in this bed, in this night. Simplicity is the doorway. Presence is the key. Step through, gently, into sleep. Simplicity opens the heart to gratitude, and gratitude awakens us to the greatest treasure of all, the gift of presence. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, but concentrate the mind on the present moment." These words are simple, yet they hold the key to peace. For what is the present moment but life itself, unfolding here, now, in your very breath? So often, we live as though life is elsewhere. Our thoughts drag us backward into regrets, or they pull us forward into fears. We replay yesterday, we rehearse tomorrow, and in doing so, we miss the only place where life can ever be lived, this moment. Presence is not something to achieve. It is simply a remembering, a gentle return, a homecoming to what has always been here. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked, "What is enlightenment?" He answered, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." His words may sound ordinary, but they reveal a great truth. Enlightenment is not in extraordinary visions. It is in being fully where you are, doing fully what you do. To eat with presence is to taste the universe. To sleep with presence is to rest in eternity. Imagine yourself now sitting in a tea house at dawn. A monk prepares a simple ceremony. He places the cup before you, pours hot water, adds leaves, steam rises. He lifts the cup with both hands, bows slightly, and sips. Every motion is slow, deliberate, present. Watching him, you realize that the tea is not just tea. It is the rain that fell on the mountain, the sun that warmed the leaves, the hands that harvested them, the fire that boiled the water. The universe itself is contained in this one cup. When you drink it with awareness, you drink the world. Take a slow breath. Inhale, feeling the warmth of the tea in your imagination. Exhale, tasting its sweetness in your mind. Inhale, the universe entering. Exhale, gratitude flowing outward. Presence does not require silence, nor does it forbid thought. It simply asks that we return, again and again, to what is real now. Like the bell of mindfulness that monks ring in the temple, presence calls us back to ourselves. Each time you notice you have wandered, you can bow inwardly and say, "Ah, I am here again." That bow is itself enlightenment. There is a parable of a farmer walking across a field. He was so lost in worry about his harvest that he did not notice the flowers blooming at his feet. A child passing by stopped to admire them, laughing with delight. The farmer paused, saw what he had missed, and for the first time in many days, he smiled. Presence is like that child, reminding us to look, to notice, to awaken to the small miracles at our feet. As you lie here, let your attention rest gently on the breath. Inhale, feel the coolness at the tip of your nose. Exhale, feel the warmth leaving. Inhale, notice the rise of your chest. Exhale, notice the softening of your body. This is presence, not a grand act, but the simple noticing of what is happening now. Take another deep breath. Whisper inwardly, "I am here, I am alive, I am present." Let the words settle in your chest like stones sinking into a still pond. The poet once said, "Forever is composed of nows." We often search for eternity, imagining it as endless time. But eternity is here, in each moment, lived fully. When you drink water with presence, you taste eternity. When you breathe with awareness, you touch the infinite. Imagine now that you are sitting beneath a tree. The wind stirs the leaves. A bird sings. Sunlight filters through the branches, dappling the ground. For a moment, nothing else exists. No past, no future. Only the tree, the wind, the song, the light. This is presence. This is peace. Breathe slowly. Inhale, feeling the tree's stillness. Exhale, feeling the wind's freedom. Inhale, hearing the bird's song. Exhale, resting in the light. Each breath draws you deeper into now. There is a Zen story of a master who asked his disciple, "What time is it?" The disciple replied, "It is noon." The master shook his head. Another said, "It is morning." Again the master shook his head. Finally, a young novice bowed and said, "It is this moment." The master smiled. Presence is not measured by clocks. It is felt in awareness. This moment, as you breathe, is the only time there ever truly island. The past has dissolved. The future has not yet come. All that exists is here. Let your body soften further into the bed. With each exhale, release the pull of yesterday. With each inhale, release the grasping for tomorrow. Rest in the completeness of now. The Buddha taught mindfulness not as a technique, but as a way of living. To walk and know you are walking. to breathe and know you are breathing, to rest and know you are resting. In that knowing, the ordinary becomes sacred, the fleeting becomes eternal. And so, as you drift closer to sleep, let your final thought be this: I am here. This is enough. In this presence, peace blossoms. In this presence, sleep comes like a soft tide, carrying you into dreams. Night carries us gently toward morning. And within that morning lies another practice of wisdom, the reflection that each day may be our last. Far from a grim thought, this reflection awakens us to the preciousness of life. The Buddha taught, every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. To hold this truth close is to live with urgency, not the urgency of rushing, but the urgency of cherishing. There is a practice among monks called the morning gatha, a short verse recited at dawn. Waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment, and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion. These words remind us that to awaken each day is itself a miracle. How many did not see this sunrise? How many hearts ceased beating in the night? And yet here you are, breathing, alive, with the chance to walk this day with presence. To reflect on this is not to invite fear, but to invite gratitude, to step into the day as though it were your last gift. Take a slow, steady breath now. Inhale as though greeting the first light of morning. Exhale as though releasing the night behind you. Again, inhale the promise of a new day. Exhale the weight of yesterday dissolving. There is a story of a disciple who asked his master, "What should I do with my life?" The master replied, "Live as though your head were on fire." The disciple frowned, confused. The master explained, "When your head is on fire, you do not delay. You do not waste time. You act immediately. So too should you live without postponing what matters, without waiting endlessly to love, to forgive, to be kind." This story does not urge panic, but presence. It reminds us that tomorrow is never guaranteed. The words of love we hold back, the forgiveness we delay, the dreams we postpone, all may be lost if we forget the fragility of time. To live with awareness of death is to live more fully in life. Imagine now that you are standing at the edge of a forest as dawn begins. The sky glows softly with pink and gold. The air is cool, filled with the scent of earth. Each breath feels like the very first breath of creation. As the light grows, the forest awakens, birds singing, leaves shimmering, streams sparkling. You realize that this, too, is how each morning can feel if met with awareness. Not routine, but miracle. Take another deep breath. Inhale, the light entering your chest. Exhale, the warmth spreading through your body. Inhale, receiving the freshness of dawn. Exhale, resting in gratitude. The Buddha often urged his disciples to ask each morning, "If this were my last day, how would I live it?" This is not to make us anxious, but to make us awake. For if today were your last, would you spend it in anger? Would you waste it in comparison? Or would you speak kindness, savor simplicity, bow to the miracle of being alive? As you lie here, reflect softly. If tomorrow greets you, how might you live it with more presence? Perhaps by smiling at a stranger, perhaps by forgiving an old wound, perhaps by simply tasting your tea with full awareness. No act is too small. Each is a jewel when seen with eyes of compassion. There is another story of a monk who swept the temple at dawn each day. When asked why he did the same work again and again, he replied, "Because I may not have another dawn. If this is my last, let me begin it with care." His broom became his prayer. His sweeping became his gratitude. Take a slow breath now. Inhale, imagining the sweep of a broom across stone. Exhale, feeling your own mind clearing with each motion. Inhale, care. Exhale, gratitude. The poet once wrote, "What will you do with your one wild and precious life?" Tonight, as you rest, let this question linger, not as pressure, but as invitation. You need not accomplish great deeds. You need only to live gently, fully, gratefully. That is enough. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the first rays of dawn touching your closed eyes. The light is soft, golden, tender. With each breath, feel it filling you until you glow within, as though the sun itself has risen in your chest. Carry this light with you into dreams, and when morning comes, let it guide you into a day of presence, compassion, and joy. There is a teacher who walks silently beside us all our days. We rarely welcome this teacher, and often we try to ignore its presence, yet it waits with infinite patience. That teacher is death. The Buddha urged his disciples not to turn away from it, but to contemplate it daily, for in remembering death we learn how to truly live. At first, such reflections may sound heavy, even frightening. But in the Buddha's way, death is not an enemy. It is the great reminder that all things are impermanent, the gentle but firm call to awaken, to cherish each moment, to loosen our grip on what will one day be gone. To meditate on death is not to dwell in despair, it is to be freed from illusion. There is a practice called cemetery meditation. Monks would sit among graves or walk through cremation grounds, watching the slow return of bodies to the earth. They did this not to cultivate morbid thoughts, but to remember, this body too will pass, just as all bodies do. Knowing this, they cherished each breath, each step, each chance to offer kindness. As you lie here tonight, you can join this meditation in your own way. Close your eyes and imagine the vast night sky stretching above you. Stars shimmer across the darkness, some shining brightly, some already extinguished, though their light still travels toward you. So it is with life. Even when bodies are gone, their light remains, crossing the space of memory, illuminating the hearts they touched. Take a slow breath. Inhale, feeling the miracle of this body still alive. Exhale, acknowledging its fragility, its impermanence. Inhale, gratitude for this moment. Exhale, release into the vastness. There is a story of a disciple who feared death deeply. He asked his teacher, "How can I live without fear of the end?" The teacher pointed to a candle flickering in the room. "See this flame," he said. "It burns brightly now, but soon it will go out. Where does the flame go?" The disciple was silent. The teacher continued, "It returns to the vast fire, to the great source. So too will you." The story reminds us that death is not disappearance, but transformation. Just as a wave returns to the ocean, just as a flame returns to fire, we return to the source from which all things arise. This reflection softens fear and deepens trust. Take another deep breath. Inhale, imagine yourself as a wave rising from the sea. Exhale, imagine yourself dissolving gently back into the ocean. Inhale, rising. Exhale, returning. Notice how natural, how peaceful the cycle feels. The Buddha taught that to remember death is to remember urgency, not the urgency of panic, but the urgency of love. For if we know time is short, we waste less of it in anger. We forgive quicker. We laugh more freely. We say, "I love you," without delay. Death teaches us to live fully now, without postponement. Imagine yourself walking through a quiet garden at dusk. Each flower is beautiful, yet you know each will fade. Does this lessen their beauty? No, it deepens it. Because they will not last, you cherish them more. So too with life. Its fragility makes it precious. Place your hand gently on your heart. Whisper silently, "One day this heart will stop. Tonight, it still beats. Thank you for this beat. Thank you for this life." Feel the gratitude spread through your chest with each thump of your heart. There is a Zen saying, "Life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes, and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken, awaken. Do not squander your life." These words are recited daily by monks, not to frighten, but to inspire. For in the face of death, every ordinary act becomes sacred. Every sip of water, every shared smile, every quiet breath at night is a treasure. Take another breath now. Inhale, recognizing the sacredness of this moment. Exhale, releasing the illusion that life is endless. Inhale, gratitude. Exhale, surrender. Imagine the night sky again, stars glimmering above. Some are being born, fiery and new. Others are dying, collapsing into silence. And yet together they weave the tapestry of the heavens. So too, birth and death weave the tapestry of life. Both are needed, both are natural, both are part of the great whole. Rest in this vastness now. Feel yourself as one of the stars, shining for a time, then fading, your light still traveling, touching lives even after you are gone. In this way, death is not the end, but the continuation of light in another form. And as you sink deeper towards sleep, let death not be your fear, but your teacher, reminding you, this night is precious, this breath is rare, this moment is everything. Even as death teaches us the fragility of life, it also asks us, what will you do with this precious breath? If pleasure fades, if possessions cannot last, then what gives life its meaning? The Buddha's answer was clear. A life of purpose, lived with compassion, with right intention, with right livelihood. Meaning is not found in endless indulgence, but in walking a path that eases suffering for ourselves and for others. There is a story of a farmer who planted trees though he knew he would not live to see them bear fruit. When asked why he labored so patiently, he smiled and said, "Because someone planted trees for me." His work was not for immediate reward but for the generations to come. This is the heart of meaning: to give, to serve, to live in a way that nourishes more than just oneself. The Buddha spoke of sama ajiva, right livelihood. He urged that whatever work we do, it should not harm, but help, not exploit, but uplift. For when our lives align with compassion, even the smallest acts become radiant with meaning. Sweeping a floor, speaking a kind word, listening with patience, all are seeds planted in the soil of the world. Take a slow breath now. Inhale, imagining yourself planting a seed in the earth. Exhale, covering it gently with soil. Inhale, trust that it will grow. Exhale, surrender the need to see its fruit. In this simple act, purpose blooms. There is another story of a monk who walked through a famine-stricken village. The people cried for food, yet the monk had nothing but his begging bowl. He sat quietly, closed his eyes, and began to chant prayers of compassion. Seeing him, one villager brought a handful of rice, another offered a scrap of bread. Soon, a pot of food was cooking, and the whole village ate together. The monk had not given them food directly. He had given them the spark to share, to unite, to remember their own strength. This, too, is purpose. To awaken what is already good in others. As you lie here, reflect softly. What seeds have you planted in your life? Perhaps a word of kindness that still ripples in someone's memory. Perhaps a small act of generosity that grew larger in another's heart. We often think of meaning as something grand, but it is found in these small acts, repeated daily, like drops filling a jar. The poet once wrote, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." What is your gift? Perhaps it is your patience, your laughter, your presence. Whatever it may be, know that it is enough. Meaning arises not from perfection, but from offering what you can, as you are. Take another deep breath. Inhale, feeling your chest expand with possibility. Exhale, sending out your intention to live gently, to ease suffering. Inhale, receiving purpose. Exhale, offering peace. There is a Zen saying, "The miracle is not to walk on water, the miracle is to walk on earth." Purpose is not about extraordinary feats. It is about walking with awareness, with kindness, on this very ground. When you smile at a stranger, when you forgive an old wound, when you care for the earth, you are already living a life of meaning. Imagine yourself as the farmer again, kneeling in a field at dusk. The soil is cool, the air gentle. You place a small seed in the earth, knowing you will not see the full tree it will become. Yet you smile, for you trust the future. As the sun sets, you feel peace not from possession, not from pleasure, but from the knowledge that you have given something back. Take another breath. Inhale, planting. Exhale, trusting. Inhale, giving. Exhale, resting. The Buddha said, "If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path." This is the secret of meaning. In giving, we are illuminated ourselves. In easing another's burden, our own heart grows lighter. In planting for the future, we rest in peace today. As you drift closer to sleep, let this truth settle in your chest. Your life already has meaning, not because of what you own, not because of what you have achieved, but because of the love you have given, the seeds you have planted, the light you have shared. The journey of wisdom always circles back to the present. We have wandered through teachings of desire and letting go, of compassion and forgiveness, of loss and meaning. Yet all of them, like rivers, flow toward the same ocean, the quiet simplicity of now. The Buddha once said, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life." But that spiritual life is not somewhere far away. It is here, in the breath, in awareness, in this very moment of being. There is a parable of the raft. The Buddha told his disciples, "Imagine a man who comes upon a great river. On this side is danger and fear. On the far side is safety and peace. He builds a raft from branches and reeds, and with effort he crosses to the other shore. Once arrived, would it make sense to carry the raft on his back, burdening himself as he continues his journey? Number. He leaves it behind, grateful but free. So too with the teachings, with the practices, with even the wisdom we cling to. They are rafts to cross the river, not possessions to weigh us down. You too have carried many rafts. Beliefs that once supported you, habits that once gave you strength, practices that carried you across difficult waters. But there comes a time to set them down, to trust that the ground beneath you is firm, to walk freely into the present. Tonight, as you rest, you may leave the rafts behind, grateful for what has guided you, but no longer bound to carry it. Take a slow, steady breath. Inhale, acknowledging all that has carried you this far, your resilience, your lessons, your struggles. Exhale, setting down what you no longer need. Again, inhale, gratitude. Exhale, release. Imagine yourself standing at the riverbank. Behind you lies the raft, worn but sturdy, the vessel that brought you here. Before you lies a meadow, soft with grass, bathed in golden light. You bow to the raft in thanks, then turn and walk forward, hands empty, heart open. Each step feels lighter, freer. This is what it means to return to the present, to walk without burden, to breathe without grasping, to live without chains. There is a Zen teaching. When walking, walk. When sitting, sit. Above all, do not wobble. It reminds us that life is lived not in theory but in presence. When you walk, be there. When you breathe, be there. When you rest, be there. To wobble is to live half in the past, half in the future, missing the gift of now. As you lie here, feel the bed holding you. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Feel the softness of the night around you. This is life. This is presence. This is enough. Whisper inwardly, I am here. I am alive. I am grateful. Take another deep breath. Inhale, receiving this moment as gift. Exhale, bowing inwardly in thanks. With each breath, let gratitude spread through your body, softening every muscle, loosening every thought. Gratitude is the root of presence. It awakens us to what is already complete. There is a story of a disciple who asked his master, "Where shall I seek the truth?" The master replied, "Here." The disciple asked, "When will it reveal itself?" The master said, "Now." The disciple asked, "Why can I not see it?" The master smiled, "Because you are looking elsewhere. Tonight, you need not look elsewhere. Truth is in this breath. Peace is in this moment. Life is here, waiting quietly for your attention. Imagine yourself lying beneath a sky filled with lanterns. Each lantern is a moment, some bright, some dim, all glowing softly. You do not need to chase one or hold another. You simply lie beneath them, bathed in their light. This is the present, an endless field of lanterns, each one a now, each one complete. Take another slow breath. Inhale, lanterns glowing brighter. Exhale, their light softening around you. Inhale, presence filling your chest. Exhale, peace spreading through your limbs. The Buddha taught that the awakened one lives fully in each moment, neither clinging to the past nor grasping at the future. To live like this is to find freedom. You do not need to control life. You need only to meet it, step by step, breath by breath. And as you drift towards sleep, let gratitude be your final thought. Thank you for this body, weary but faithful. Thank you for this breath, steady and alive. Thank you for this night, soft and generous. Thank you for this chance to rest. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into sacred. Presence transforms this moment into eternity. As our journey together draws to its close, we return to the lantern that has been quietly glowing in your heart all along. Through teachings of impermanence, forgiveness, compassion, and presence, you have been guided back to a truth both simple and profound. Letting go is not loss. It is a return to the light that has always been yours. The Buddha once said, "Within you is the light of 1,000 suns." It is easy to forget this light when the mind is clouded with worry, when the heart is heavy with sorrow, when the body aches with weariness. But just as the moon is never lost behind the clouds, your light has never left you. Tonight, as you rest, you are invited to feel it again, steady and soft, glowing from within. Take a slow, deep breath. Inhale, as though drawing a lantern's glow into your chest. Exhale, letting that light spread gently through your body. Inhale, again, brighter now. Exhale, softer now. With each breath, the lantern grows warmer until it fills your entire being with peace. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a quiet forest at night. In your hands, you hold a lantern, its flame golden and calm. You walk slowly along the path, and wherever the lantern shines, the way becomes clear. Shadows retreat, not because you force them away, but because light naturally dissolves darkness, So too with your heart, your peace need not fight, it need only shine. There is a story of a traveler who wandered into a cave searching for treasure. In the dark, he stumbled, fearful, convinced he was lost. Then he lit a small lamp, and the cave revealed not gold or jewels, but walls lined with crystals sparkling in the glow. What he feared as emptiness was, in truth, filled with beauty. He simply needed the light to see it. So too with your own life. The treasures are here, within you, waiting for the lantern of awareness. As you breathe now, let your lantern shine gently. Inhale, light filling your chest. Exhale, shadows dissolving. With each breath, your burdens grow lighter, your worries grow softer, until only peace remains. The Buddha taught that all things are impermanent, yet there is one thing that does not fade. The awakened heart, vast and luminous. To touch this heart is to remember who you are beneath all stories, beneath all fears, beneath all striving. You are the lantern itself. You are the light that does not go out. Take another breath. Place your hand softly on your chest. Whisper inwardly, I return to the light within me. I am safe. I am whole. I am at peace. As sleep approaches, let yourself be carried into it as though carried on waves of light. Each inhale draws you deeper into calm. Each exhale releases you into rest. You are held. You are guided. You are free. And now, as we close, let us remember together, letting go is not loss. It is the gentle return to what has always been here, the lantern in your heart, glowing with compassion, with stillness, with love. Take one final deep breath. Inhale peace. Exhale gratitude. Inhale light. Exhale rest. Let yourself drift now into sleep, carried by the lantern within, glowing softly through the night, guiding you into dreams of peace,